Yes, it's time! We're back with a one build battle royale. I am super excited to hop into this. We haven't done a one build battle royale in quite some time, so it's going to be some very legendary stuff. Now, please do ignore the scoreboard at the top. This is not Karadog versus Ice Power. That was from a previous stream, I think, where I've got the names there. I need to check to see who is actually going to be hopping in the first lobby. I believe it's Tech Priest versus Tank, so let me actually set that up quickly. And so off the top of my head, I think that's who it is, and maybe we can turn it around. For those of you guys who are not used to the one build battle royale, basically you get to pick a build and you stick with that build for the duration of the entire tournament. There's a load of luck involved. Depending if you go full Cav build, like I believe Falcon did today, you may run into a full Slayer build, which I also think happened to him, unfortunately. So, you know, there's a lot of luck involved in this type of thing, but it's a super fun format, and one that I absolutely adore doing because people really embrace the memeage normally, and come in with some absolute wild stuff. So I'm going to be hopping in here. It is best of ones, of course, due to the nature of it being a one build battle royale. And if you ever take a quick little peek, I have put up the bracket in chat a few times. And it looks like we're going to be starting with Tank versus Tech Priest, Dacta versus Capt Tellus, Charix versus Green One, and then either Brindle or Cyrus versus Karadog. There's a bit of delay there at the start of the bracket, so we're going to move them down to the bottom. Then we have two semi-finals and the final. So a bucket ton of content for you guys today, and I'm really excited to hop into this one. So let's have a little look, see if we can indeed find Mr. Tank and where their lobby is. Boop, spectate, password 123. And there we go. Perfect. I'm excited. What's up, Pax? What's up, Spookington King? What a name. Swiss Pikeman, the absolute legend. Always enjoyed the intro cutscene. I must admit, it is the first one I ever edited on like an editing software, and I'm so proud of it. I love Nakai. I absolutely adore him. He looks beautiful. Mr. Sand Pirate, love to see you here. Pax as well. Hamund is here. What up? Hope you guys are as excited as I am. 'Tis him. Hello, quack quack. Best of luck, lads. Start when ready. We're just going to hop straight into this. So I've asked everyone who is playing today and those watching who are going to be playing, just open up a lobby, add a spectator slot, make sure the password is 123, and I'll hop into it when it is your time to shine. We're working from the second bracket, then the third, fourth, back up to number 1. We will then do the first semi-final, the second semi-final, and then the final. It's going to be a load of fun. I'm really excited today. Nakai is like dolphin power armor. I don't know what dolphin power armor is, Bubba, but it sounds like, do you mean like a dolphin in power armor, which just kind of weaves through the enemy? That'd be absolutely insane. It'd be insane. Yasurin awaits new additions to his realm. Let's go! Yeah, I'm excited. So these guys are going to be pretty crazy. What's the agreed upon wisdom when picking an army for this format? Well, Pax, there's a few ways you can do it. Most people tend to like to meme. It's a very fun tournament, but if you're wanting to go competitive, it's probably best to go something like Vampire Counts or Dwarfs. They tend to be relatively good in these against all army style of play, or you can fully commit. So you can either go really balanced, or completely go unbalanced like this dwarf build, and you go all in on like cavalry or all in on range, and you pray you come in against the right matchups. And we have a Slayer-inspired build led by Forik Ironbrow. Now, this may look like a meme, and it kind of is a little bit maybe in this type of format. It's actually very good against Beastmen. So I'm pretty excited to see how this performs. This is a really solid build idea against Beastmen. So you get a load of minus of blast and charges in the front. They kill all of the infantry, the Gores, the Ungores, and then you get a load of Slayers, and they kill literally everything else in the Beastmen roster. Bestigors, though, could be a bit problematic. So we have Slayers dotted throughout, including the Dragonback Slayers. They're the basic ones. Triple Giant Slayer as well in the back. And this army shall be led by Forik Ironbrow, coming in looking full-on swag as always. He's going to be coming in here with the Rune of Doom, Rune of Negation, and the Rune of Speed. Very cool stuff here from this Dowie force. Now for Tank, a master, and I believe a previous winner of this event. He's got a load of Centaurs, so we have triple Centaurs down on this left-hand side. Triple Throwing Axes. These guys are going to get some insane value today. There's nothing that can really catch them on the Dwarf side, nothing that can shoot or harass them either. We do have Gore Herds for the main battle line. They're going to be saying hello to those minus of blasting charges and eating a lot of shots. And then we have a load of Razor Gore Piggies. So 1, 2, 3. We also have Torox the Brass Bull and a Brave Shaman of Wild coming in with Traderkin. I can't remember what army Tank faced in round 1. I do know this build had to take on a triple Dragon Prince Dragon build. So I'd love to see that replay on how on earth you would approach this with a dragon. I do not know. I guess you breath attack Thoric or kill the miners. It'd be an absolute mess, but I'm really excited to see how this one gets underway. So here we go. Here we go. Centaur's going to start reaving around its left-hand flank, and all of the ammo, realistically, wants to be shot into Giant Slayers. They're the heaviest hitting Slayers on today's roster, so bring them down as quickly as possible. Torx isn't going to have a good time. Brave Shaman will do okay. The Razor Gore Piggies are not going to be liking this either. Miners, once they engage with the Gore Herds, should do a relatively decent job. Now, Centaurs could try to bait out some blasting charges. If Tech Priest isn't, kind of got his wits about him, he might loose a few in here, but those blast charges have to go down on the Gore Herds. You need to thin the herd before the Slayers get in there and start slicing and dicing, because Gore Herds are actually relatively decent. I mean, 41 melee attack will certainly decapitate quite a few of the Slayers and drag them down. So Thronaxes are coming in now, aiming at the minus of blasting charges, which is an interesting choice here. I guess maybe just praying that he can get rid of them before they strike the Gore Herds, or maybe it's just that they're on fire at will and I'm reading too much into that battle tactic. Gores are starting to retreat and run away, which of course is what's going to happen here. He wants to use up all his ammunition where possible, and it is all going in to the miners. So yeah, really trying to get rid of those blasting charges. Not going to be the most cost effective, but as far as, hey, these are my goals to win the battle, I want to kill the miners so the Gore Herds can kill the Slayers, then it's got some sense to it, right? Use the Raised Gores, use the Centaur Gores, kill the miners, and then the Gores can kill the Slayers, which is probably the best approach here that I think Tank could do to try to win today's battle. It's what I would do anyway. Well, maybe not why, I don't know what I would do. I'd panic and scream and start running away and pray Torx could somehow win the day. Slayers going to be pulling back here, pushing up with the miners, trying to absorb more and more damage. Now, it looks like the Slayers are getting focused down as well as the miners on this right-hand side. Razor Gore Herd's going to get a little aggressive. Looks like the miners have overextended away from their Slayer allies, and this is going to be a pretty nasty charge as the Piggies do come in, slam into Ekron miners, doing some relatively decent shock damage on the charge. Now, Slayers are quick to react, but they weren't quite close enough, unfortunately. Those dwarves are pretty powerful over short distances. That was a little bit too far for them though, and the Razor Gores get some free damage down on this flank. Elsewhere, miners are really having to absorb quite a bucket ton of ammunition right now. 10 kills, 3 kills, and 10 from the Grog Hooves of Wolf's Run. They don't have the most amount of ammunition, but, they've still got a decent amount left for this part of the battle. Still focusing on those miners at all costs. Use the Centaurs to kill the miners, can use everything to kill the miners to try and pray you have enough Gore Herds to kill the Slayers. And the Dwarfs seem to be a little bit lost on what to do here. This isn't the fight we were expecting. We were expecting to bomb rush the enemy and slaughter them where they stand, but instead, they're getting kited around a little bit right now. Miners, Blast and Chasers taking quite a lot of damage. They probably wouldn't have expected to be the main focus of attention here today. Thoric Ironbrow of Rune of Doom and Rune of Speed will turn these Slayers into lawnmowers, however. We are going to get a nice fat Traitorkin going down as the Centaurs move in to do a little bit of poke onto those miners. Razor Gores are going to charge in once again onto the miners, but this can be problematic. Slayers have caught them now. Luckily, the Traitorkin is down, lowering their speed, because the Piggies themselves will be getting hit here by the debuff from the Dragonback Slayers. Oh, can't hop onto it there, but basically it's a nice slow, and it also gives them, I believe, a weakness to fire. So they're getting slowed down, and a couple of pigs do bite the bullet there. So that charge a little bit less successful. Minus blasting charges are actually going to use their charges on the Centaurs, because this unit's dead anyway, so hey, might as well shoot your shot whilst you're still alive, right? Might as well go for it. More miners are starting to push up, launching blasting charges into the Grog Hooves of Wolf's Run, who do not have a weakness to fire despite their regeneration, because their regeneration does not come from their skin knitting itself back together, but instead comes from their love of booze. Dragonback Slayers are going to be forced back here as the Gore Herds do charge and drive them away. We're going to need to see some miners to try to intercept this unit, and it looks like Tank knows this, and he is going to be falling back here. Looks like these guys are just saying good luck, have fun. Centaurs just focusing down the miners. It looks like Tech Priest is quite happy for the miners to be the ones getting shot right now. Torx considered coming in for a charge, but there's a load of Slayers nearby. It's so risky. If he gets bogged down and hit with a Rune of Speed or something on the Slayers, he really could just straight up die here. Razor Gores moving down to the left. Thronaxes are continuously going in after the miners. Slayers are now pushing them back, and it's just going to be a very, very slow opening. And as soon as the ammunition is waned on these units of Centaurs, the battle's going to liven up very, very quickly, because the Gore Herds are trying their best here to really dish out the pain to these miners. But once they... Oh, no, they've rampaged! Okay, this is just a dead unit of Razor Gores right now. We've got Dragonback Slayers here, basic Slayers, even more Slayers if they want to enjoy the party. The Razor Gores may be able to retreat, though. They've still got a bucket ton of models, still half their unit size there. Just as I say that, a load more models do bite the dust. Oh, that is so much damage. Yeah, these Razor Gores not having a good time. Look at the death! All of them piggies, no dead dwarfs over on this flank. Centaurs really starting to dwindle on their ammunition as they come in, try to finish off those miners with blasting charges. Groghoves of Wolf's Run do get a tad caught there by Slayers, but should be able to escape before taking too much damage. Looks like that Brave Shaman has miscast a few times. If she's in the presence of Thoric Ironbrow, that could certainly explain why. Goreherd starting to rotate around. We've got some moving up around the flanks as well. Another unit of piggies is going to be charging in onto these miners, and Tech Priest has done a relatively decent job of keeping his units tight. The one thing he's done a little bit is keep the Slayers slightly too far back. There's no missile pressure coming onto them, so keeping them right up behind the Slayers is the way to go, like almost buddy-buddy, just high-fiving each other. And these Razor Gores need to be careful. If they rampage, it is going to be a disaster for them. Are they going to be able to escape with a load of Slayers hacking and chewing at them? Oh, they're just about retreating right now. Torque's Brassball goes after Thoric Ironbrow, which, you know, should do relatively okay. He doesn't have his fire resistant armor, though, which is a little bit sad. Rune of Doom does go down with a load of Slayers, including Giant Slayers for bodyguards, and there's no Goreherds right here. So all these Centaurs are about to get pinned in by the Giant Slayers. This is looking really bad news on this flank here for the Beastmen. We do get a Rune of Doom go down, plus the Rune of Speed. That is some insane stats. 96 melee attack on Giant Slayers. Torx is going to be able to retreat, but he's going to lose his Razor Gore herds on this flank. Elsewhere, those Slayers are getting chewed apart by the Gore herds as Torx and the Brave Shaman do manage to retreat there. And on this flank, it looks like the Razor Gore herds did unfortunately all kind of bite the bullet or retreat back. They're now rampaging. But we have Centaurs rear charging miners. The dwarfs really need to get much tighter than they currently are and stick together. Yes, you're going to suffer from the nasty traitor kin and so forth, but hey, it doesn't do the most damage to infantry. And yeah, there's no kind of real pressure coming from missiles anymore. A couple of volleys left and some throwing axes, but just protect your miners with your Slayers because you need them to kill the Goreherds. Tanks are doing a really good patient job right now of moving the Goreherds nice and slowly. Centaurs are now fighting miners, and the Dragback Slayers are nearby to support, but in come the Goreherds. More Slayers as well, unfortunately, going to be fighting Gores. Now, the Slayers will still do a decent job up against the Goreherds, don't get me wrong. They're going to trade against each other, and there's going to be a lot of dead models, but it's the best way to get the Slayers off the field. Groghoves of Wolf's Run, they go in for a lovely little charge, try to break that last unit of miners, who still has a load of ammunition, but only 25 models left. I don't think they're going to get off many blasting charges before they go down here. Torque's Brass Ball does go into the mist. Now, Thoric Ironbrow will do actually fine against the Goreherds. They don't have that much AP to drag him down, really. Dragonback Slayers are engaged with Centaurs down on this flank. Elsewhere, we have Slayers fighting side by side alongside some of the Ekron miners as more Centaurs come crashing into the rear of the units they can possibly break. And you guessed it, that is indeed the miner unit. Rune of Negation goes down on the Dragonback Slayers. They're having an absolute whale of a time right now. These Centaurs definitely don't really want to be hanging around here, and they're getting dragged down so effectively. Look at the models fall around the mighty dwarfs. We do get a lovely blast and charge volley go into the Goreherds. Slayers are doing relatively decent up against them as well. There's still a fair few on the battlefield. We're going to get a big fat Traitorkin catching the majority of the dwarf build there. Basically everything but this unit of Dragonback Slayers. But it's looking a little bit bleak for Torx the Brass Bull. There's a lot of Giant Slayers still left alive, though not many miners, and Torx is going to retreat now. Charging in to the Dragonback Slayers. He's going to do a roly-poly and maybe wants to continue to pull directly through them because they will do a big number on him and continue to slow him down. Goreherds are certainly starting to grind their way through the miners and Slayers alike. There's still this big pocket of strength down here alongside Thoric Ironbrow, who unfortunately does not have the Rune of Wrath and Ruin. If he had that, I don't know if there's any way for the Beastmen to win this, because it would help kill all of these infantry units. Masterful game so far, though, by Tank and his Beastmen forces. Despite, I think, the armies being quite unfavoured against him, is actually pulling ahead quite heavily right now. We do get another Rune of Doom going down, but all the Slayers are looking so beat up right now. The Goreherds just chewing their way through them. Torx the Brass Bull is still relatively healthy for the later stages of the game. And I don't know if the Dwarves have enough to kill all these Goreherds. 49 Goreherds, 52, 66. There's so many left. And they'll do absolutely fine up against Slayers. Torx Brass Bull is well and truly balls deep in Thoric's face right now. He is showing all of it off. And Thoric, unfortunately, isn't able to beat him back. Torx simply retreats back, and it's going to be a nice swarm from the Beast Hordes as the Dowie make a valiant last stand. Thoric Ironbrow may well break here. He is not unbreakable like his Slayer brethren, and that is going to be a victory for Tank and the forces of the Beastmen. What a game! That was absolutely crazy! That was such a cool game. Very well played by Tank. He masterfully dealt with the Dowie in front of him. It looks like such an odd choice, using the Centicles on Miners rather than on the expensive Giant Slayers, but it pays off. You finish off the Miners, you use all your cavalry, everything you can to kill those Miners, and then at the end of the day, you got a lot of Gore Herds, and they will certainly take through the Slayers. 720 damage value from Thoric Ironbrow, 760 from the Slayers, 700, 1100, 400, and 363. 550, 1,830 damage value from the Giant Slayers. Miners did okay, but unfortunately couldn't really get their blasting charges on the right targets. Miners doing the best with that 400 value. As for Tank, Torque's Brass Ball only 740 value, but hey, Torque's Brass Ball, he knows how to scrap out a win. Brave Shaman of the Wild did really good, 2.2k damage value and 168 kills, just with those Traderkins. Very powerful stuff. Now the Gore Herds, 1.6k damage value, 1,000 damage value, 770, 294 and 429. Beautiful play using those guys in Deep Reserve there. Now Centicles fared a lot worse, but they did their main job, kind of in the mid-hundreds there for damage value. And the Thrown Axes, 640, 780 and 650 damage value. The Piggies got absolutely butchered. Of course, their Rampage mechanic coming in, and faring not too great for them. GG. Love the build. See you soon. Cool. So well played to those guys. Let's hop out of this one. As I believe up next we have Dacta versus Captellus. So let me open a lobby quickly. Oh, change the... I'm going to hop into their lobby. But I'm going to just change the scoreboard before we hop in. Dacta. Up against... Captellus. The Beast. I believe this is Wood Elves versus Tomb Kings. I believe so. I believe so. So there we go. Let's pop those guys in. And let's chat with you guys very quickly before we hop into the lobby. Welcome, welcome everyone. Good to see you guys here. What's up, Capt? Bubba? Absolute useless. I love the name. Can Thoric carry? Thoric cannot. If he had the Rune of Wrath and Ruin, maybe. I love this die build. Happy I could steal it from Tech Priest. Yeah, Hank. Honestly, it's really not that bad whatsoever against Beastman. But obviously against Tank, he's a different breed, man. Tank's so powerful. What's up, Sharix? Joseph as well. After watching this Beastman play, it reaffirms that the Brass Ball is no Chad. Tasty bacon. I agree. I need to start calling off work to get involved in these things. Morgan, Morgan, we need to do games. I say this every time I see you. We need to do some games, man, against each other and get you involved in some of these events. I do have a weekend off coming up. I am doing some special stuff on it, some special events. But maybe I can double stream or something on that day. Or we can at least play some games. That'll be in early November. Anyway, let's hop in to Captellus versus Dacta. And after this, I believe we have Charix versus the green one. And then either Hank or Brindle versus Karadog, which should be really good. So, map-wise, let us choose. I'm just basically picking random tournament maps. Pillar of Bone. Yo, yo! Pillar of Bone Zone is the map. Looking forward to this. Dacta's build truly is something beautiful. It truly is. Oh! My bad. Let's do... I completely forgot what maps I did before. Let's do Dot Kraz. Let's go Dot Kraz. And after this, for the next round, we'll do something like Galbaraz. Yeah, Dacta's got a full cav build, guys. We're seeing a full cav here. Yes, John. So basically, you pick one build to start your army, to start the tournament, and you keep that army for the duration of the entire event. You can't change anything. You can't even change spells. You cannot change chevrons. Whatever you submit is what you play as. So there's a lot of roulette. Obviously, if you bring a full kite faction and then you come against something which is perfect for destroying kite, you're in trouble. But that's half the beauty of this type of tournament. Anyone can beat anyone. It's just certainly some good fun. I play mostly for fun. This is why I pick Beastman despite competitive build. Yeah, I would argue Dowie and Vampire Counts. I would actually argue Vampire Counts are the best faction in this matchup. Dowie are very, very powerful as well. Probably the second most powerful. I think Vampire Counts, a lot of their builds, at least at top level play, can be very similar. So I think it's a good solid... There's a really good solid base you can bring with Vampire Counts to take on most comers. So for the forces of Mr. Dacta right now, the legendary Wood Elf player, he is coming in with a load of cavalry. So we do have one unit of Great Stag Knights, one unit of Wild Riders and Glade Riders down here on the ground. We have more Glade Riders, we have Wild Riders, more Great Stag Knights and more Wild Riders. Personally, I loved Wild Riders when they first came out, but look at the difference in size. I'm not saying size is everything, guys, but the Grey Stag Knights certainly are riding ahead of the Wild Riders in this one. They're still a very cool unit, but Grey Stag Knights are so freaking badass. Leading the battle line, we do have Orion, of course, the Chaddiest of Chads. And then we have the Branch Wraith of Earthblood and Pendulum. I certainly hope Orion's come with his cloak. He has, as well as his horn and his hounds. Good stuff to see. So an Orion cavalry build up against the Tomb Kings here of Capt Tellus, who actually has some decent counter to cavalry in a way, but he's got the potential to be swarmed quite heavily here. So we have triple Ushopti Great Bows in the back pocket here. We have Ark in the Black coming with Spirit Leech, as well as, of course, as all his summons and abilities and items. We have a load of warriors in the front line, and they're going to be backed up by a decent amount of Skeleton Spearmen and Skeleton Warriors, 2 units of Skirmish Cav, Karen in the Sky, and Double Chariot. Those Ushopti are somehow going to have to stay alive. I don't know if it's physically possible to keep them alive up against this much cavalry, but if they can shoot Orion, if they can shoot the Great Stags, they're going to be in a fantastic position to win this game. It's really going to come down to, can he protect them? And you're trying to protect them against someone who's got as good micro as Dacta, but likewise someone who's got an insane amount of cavalry on the field, right? Orion gives charge bonus. He does when he pops his ability, Cat Morgan. So I'll pop over here for you quickly. So he has something called, I believe it's the Horn of the Wild Hunt. Let's just double check. He does. Horn of the Wild Hunt. It is map wide for 24 seconds. You get plus 60% charge bonus. I'm so annoyed that I need to come off the beach, I think, and just do some quick battles and play really fun builds, because I used to really enjoy doing that. And obviously I haven't been able to do it for a while. And I used to love Orion, like, cavalry Dryad rushes. It is so much fun. It's not necessarily super competitive at the moment, due to the kind of the power of the meta. But yeah, bringing him and a load of Cav, or bringing a Glade Lord and a Dragon with Helm of Discord can equally be a bucket ton of fun. So instantly the Karen are just going to scout out the woods and make sure there's no nastiness around, just push away these Wild Riders. We've got the Skirmish Cav, and of course the Ushopti can start raining down some shots. Now the majority of the Wood Elf force is hiding, and Karen in this dip, which is a rather wise move right now, though the Karen can obviously open them up and be like, hey, what's up? These guys are down here, and kind of, I don't know how that works, the line of sight thing. Like, they just shouting back, like, yeah, there's a load of Wild Riders over here. I don't know how that works. But still, Orion's going to be coping some shots up. Honestly, probably wasting ammunition. I would be saving those Javelins rather than throwing them against Carrion. Use them on Archon, use them on Ushopti, use them on Chariots, use them on whatever you fancy. So the Tomb Kings are going to kind of force themselves out in different directions. Skeleton Horse Archers don't have too much which can catch them realistically. So they can kind of just move around and poke down the enemy where possible. So what's their speed? 76. Ooh, it'd be close. 85 speed. Oh yeah, no, they could definitely be caught. Oh my god, yeah, they're going to be caught hard if they don't stay too close to friendly territory. So Ryan's going to push forward. He's very susceptible to bow fire. He only has 30 armor. I believe he does come in... No, he doesn't come in with any missile resistance. I think he's got just a base resistance, right? Like a base physical. Yeah, 20. So he's taking a load of damage. I remember when Orion got buffed a little bit. He was so awesome. He's still very powerful, but he's lost quite a little bit of his durability here. So Ryan's taking a decent amount of damage here, just from the Skeleton Horse Archers. They're going to be liking that. Ark in the Black does decide to fall back, and the Tomb Kings are readying themselves. They're preparing themselves. It's going to be very interesting to see how bracing now works. Apparently, if units stay still and brace, they should be able to absorb cavalry charges a bit more. I haven't personally seen it have too much effect. The Glade Riders are actually the focus of attention right now, rather than the Elite Cavalry, which is interesting. Wild Riders do clatter in to the Warriors, although some Skeleton Chariots will countercharge, and a lovely summon of Skeleton Warriors actually goes behind the Glade Riders, looking to surround and drag them in. We do have that charge bonus active, a tiny bit too late for some units, but other units are going full on in, and look at the damage coming out right now to the Skeleton Spearmen. One unit of Wild Riders has been dealt with. The other Glade Riders are bumping and grinding against the front line here of the Tomb King forces, and the Ushopti are about to be shut down. We have Wild Riders forcing on them, Great Stag Knights forcing on them. There are some Skeleton Spearmen who can start to counter-punch where possible. The Warriors as well will do okay damage in sustained combat here. Second unit of Ushopti does look to be getting shut down, and the third one as well. This is a dream come true for the Wood Elves. Want to see a big pendulum come down the line on the warriors? Oh my god, that did so much damage. Not before the Glade Riders got dealt with, but it should allow the Branch Wraith to really force themselves through. Orion's taking quite a pound in right now. It's all going to come down to, can the Tomb Kings now protect these Ushopti? Definitely not this unit on the right. It's going to be going down, and the Skeleton Spearmen just don't pack that much of a punch, despite their bonus versus large, to dish out that much damage to the Great Stag Knight. So you get away taking some damage, but not a huge amount. This unit of Ushopti has been saved by some Skeleton Warriors in the middle. The one on the left does look like it may indeed go down. A lot of the heavier hitting cavalry are over on this flank. Though likewise, there is a load of Skeleton Spearmen as well. Skeleton Chariots going to be moving in to try to pin these units in place. And if they can break the Great Stag Knights, their leadership is getting quite low right now. That'd be a big, big problem. But a lovely countercharge into the Chariots from the Stags is going to keep them going. We're going to see another pendulum come down the line on the Skeleton Spearman, but also a Ushopti summon, which could finish off double Wild Riders if Dax is not careful. He needs to flee this engagement immediately on the left-hand flank. Some load of Tomb Kings left alive, dotted all around. Ark and the Black is going toe-to-toe with the Branch Wraith and absolutely dumpstering it, would seem. Having a good time there. Orion and a load of cavalry is going to force its way over to help support this engagement, but a nice played Liber Mortis goes down to ensure that Archon doesn't get sniped out too quickly. A load of the other units, though, are going to have to start trugging their way over here, and this could be a big, big blow. If Ark and the Black goes down, this is a bit of a disaster. The Wood Elves, using their mobility here, certainly to their advantage, as the rest of the Tomb King force is really struggling to get over and assist their Lord. We still have some Ushopti firing last shots in, but looks like they are now down. The summon Ushopti, 13 kills, not bad, up against a full cavalry build. We do have a Skeleton Summon coming down to just mess up the Great Stag Knights. Branch Wraiths have been dealt with, Wild Riders have been dealt with, but Orion is poking, he's jabbing, and he is blowing his horn of the Wild Hunt in the face of Ark and the Black, who's having to fall back here, desperately trying to get away. He's getting blocked in right now by Wild Riders. Lovely air effect spell does come down, does a little bit of friendly fire to Great Stag Knights as well, and a lot of the Wood Elf cavalry is really low now. We still have Wild Riders, we have some more Wild Riders down here, and Great Stag Knights. But that's about it. Everything else is kind of falling back now. Of course, Archon just needs to survive and Spirit Leech all these units down. He's getting dangerously close to a load of Wild Riders and Great Stag Knights. They're kind of just rolling around as homies here. We still have 104 Skeleton Spearmen here, a load of Skeleton Spearmen dotted all around the battlefield, but that Branch Wraith is back, and the Branch Wraith is one of the best ways to deal with them with those pendulums. We're going to see yet another Spirit Leech go down on Orion, probably better used on the cavalry in my opinion. Get them on the Great Stag Knights, get them off the field, because Orion will heal absolutely massively with that Cloak of Isha when it comes down to it. The Warriors are doing a decent job. You can see Wild Riders are getting dragged down here despite getting healed up. And some carrion are still alive. I quite like this. Use them in a real last stand moment. You can just use them to chase off the enemy in the later stages of the game. More Great Stag Knights have bitten the bullet. Skeleton Chariots might not be able to chase them off the battlefield though, because they are actually crumbling. Ark and the Black could move over though and start dropping some more Spirit Leeches. It looks like we get another Spirit Leech, this time the Branch Wraith, not a bad target whatsoever. The Warriors are isolated and alone, kind of getting surrounded and dragged down right now. The Wild Riders, the Great Stag Knights, should be able to finish them off relatively comfortably, but they've taken a bucket ton of damage at the same time. More Skeleton Spearmen are on the approach. They need to make sure they stick together for the most part, I would think. Great Stags are on the approach, so are the Wild Riders. We still have that one unit of carrion. Down here we've got some Glade Riders who could come back, but apart from that, it is basically what you see is what you get. Man, this has been an awesome close game so far. These Skeleton Spearmen I just think need to stick together and just try to dodge pendulums, which is obviously way easier said than done. Likewise as avoiding those air effect spells from Orion, because otherwise they're going to get isolated though, and the cavalry will be able to just jump on infantry. Now this is kind of my worry with the Cav Beach, I'm not going to lie, that even Brace and Spears won't really do anything to cavalry, but these are all kind of like low tier spears, you know. So I don't expect them to do too much to Great Stag Knights. Liber Mortis does go down onto Skeleton Spearmen, and they actually are able to hold long enough to break the Wild Riders once again, and all of this cavalry is getting so low and beat up. Balance power is very even right now. We still have a unit of 16 Great Stags. I'd love to see Spirit Leeches go down on them, but then again, to finish off the Branch Wraith would also be quite nice. And we get a massive banishment, or hounds come down by Orion on the Skeleton Spearmen, doing some really lovely work. Orion is once again going to push Ark and the Black away. More Stags do go down, another two are wavering. They are very beat up at the moment. I'm sure Arkham will be saving some more Skeleton Summons in the back pocket, though, for the later stages of the game. And right now, he's just looking to finish off the Branch Wraith, who gets one last Earthblood down to try to heal up her forces. Arkham the Black is just bobbing. He's weaving. He's darting between all of these Stags, desperately trying to cling on to life. But I don't know if he's got enough. I think the Wood Elves are going to have this. The Great Stags still have 16 models. We do get yet another Spirit Leech go down the Branch Wraith, but even if they force off the battlefield, they don't have anything to really chase her, and all the chaff support is going down. Ark and the Black seems to be doomed. Maybe he has a cheeky Skeleton Summon in the back pocket. which might be able to help him, because the Branch Wraith is going down right now. We have the carrying coming back. They probably need to commit to the fight now. And just charge in and try and break these units of cavalry. If Archon falls, it is definitely GG's and game over. If he has one more Skeleton Warrior summon, maybe there is hope, as the Great Stag Knights are down to 14 models. This other unit, very beat up unit of Wild Riders. Karen probably going to swoop in to try to finish them off. Branch Wraith, though, does return and gets an Earthblood down. That is massive. And remember, guys, Orion still has a load of healing left, so I think Orion could put this game on his back. A very, very close scrap. Well played to Captellus, well played to Dacta. But Dacta's Wood Elves shall be moving on to the semi-final. The Wild Hunt does continue into the future. That was awesome. That was absolutely awesome. What's up for Poland? Welcome, welcome. Tabletop style, baby. It is indeed. It is indeed. Massive shout out to Lord Master Sotek, who popularized this form of Torment. A very nice dude and very good content creator. Likewise, I believe we've done slightly different though. We're not actually doing quite tabletop. We've not done the limits on like core units, special units, rare units, that kind of stuff. But we're just doing, yeah, like the one build, which is really good fun. Well played to Dacta. Took some Master Micro there. Great Stag Knights, 1.2k damage value and 1.6 on this unit. 145 and 51 kills. Wild Riders, 1,000 damage value, 450, 1,400, 1,100. Really nice work there. I do think the main play would have been to Spirit Leech the Great Stag Knights, but that's kind of also in hindsight. Would that have actually been better, or would getting Orion as low as possible been the best option? Otherwise, he might have carried in the late game. I mean, we probably would have had to do some testing. Branch Wraith, 650 damage value, 2.4 on Orion, the King of the Woods. 143 kills, been an absolute legend there. Well played to Captellus, though, a masterful display by him as well. If you're looking to see how to get, like, milk the most value possible from each battle with Archon, just go look at a load of Captellus games. He really does get this guy, like, squirming his way to freedom every time. 1.7k damage value on Archon. Skeleton Spearman, 600, 700, 400, 500, and 500 damage value. The Aurors did okay. Chariots did pretty good. Just shy of 800 value is not too shabby. Any other standouts? Not really. The Bow Shopty obviously struggled with the fact that they couldn't get to grips with the enemy. 1.7 on Archon was quite nice in that the little bits of combat he could actually find himself in. So I played to those two guys. It was an awesome game. Great Bows was shut down too quickly. Wouldn't have happened in a box. I mean, maybe, maybe not. The problem is with the box, the Pendulum would have just slaughtered it and opened up a giant hole. And then plus Orion coming in as well. I don't know. It would have been tough to see. It would have been tough to see. But yes, yes. Oh. Sorry, just next time. I'm just replying to a message quickly. Awesome. So, let's see who we have up next. It is going to be Charax versus Green One. We then have Brindle versus Karadog, which is certainly going to be some good fun here. So let's update this. And on the left-hand side, I'm just going to guess that Charax is one who made the lobby. So we have Charax. Let's pop that in the middle. And on the right-hand side, we have the mighty Green One. Green One. There you go. Awesome. Both these guys are really nice and very good players as well, so I'm quite excited to see this. I can't remember who bought memes and who bought serious builds. I know what Green One's bought. Oh no, I don't think it's going to go... Okay, I think we have like triple Waywatchers versus a Mammoth build, which could be interesting. Could be interesting. Boxes are so 1973. Gunions are where it's at. I agree, Wicked. Gunions are, I mean, they're very good dwarfs as well. I really needed them, but you did a good job. Oh yeah, well thanks for the game. I'll catch you later. So I went all in for it. Yeah, that was a fun one. That was very close. Yo! Oakenhammer can be the map. I'm happy with Oakenhammer. Looking forward to this. This is going to be awesome, guys. So I believe Charax has like a traditional Wood Elf build with like triple Waywatchers and stuff. And then I think the Green One has the Soul Crusher. I think he has the Soul Crusher. So it's going to be interesting. Spirit Leeches need to go down the Wild Riders. Yeah, I think the Wild Riders are the Great Stags. But at the same time, yeah, like, he didn't have that much to kill Orion. I guess you just try and drag him down in the later stages of the game. What is Atolia? I'm not actually sure. I know it's Captellus' current name. So he is Captellus, but he's going at the moment as the King of Atolia. I need to look at what that is. I don't know if that's a real life fin or a game fin. Seeing full carry builds being viable in tournaments, I feel like watching Legend of Total Cheese in another legendary campaign with one ranged unit kind of army. Hey, I really like what Legend does. I really like what he does as well. Like, obviously, it's like he's got his fin, which is like, I'm going to try to complete the game as efficiently as possible, or like cheese the game as much as possible, or whatever. And it's really entertaining. So I know it's not for everyone, but I think he does good work. Yeah, vortexes aren't completely random. They're, at least not for the first few seconds, you can actually aim them. I don't know if you can aim Ruination of Cities, though. That's like the one off the top of my head that I'm not sure if you can actually aim it. Maybe you can aim the first shot and the other two are random? Who knows? Oh, let's have a nice big fat stretch and a sip of our water as we load in here. So this Norscan build was absolutely hilarious. I don't think it's going to do too great against the Wood Elves here. So, oh, we have a dragon! Oh, hell, you didn't realise Chex had a dragon. I thought she was on an eagle or something. So, this is really cool, actually. I love seeing the dragons back in the game. So, for the force of the Wood Elves, we have Glade Riders mixed in with some Wild Riders, so 2 on either side. We have a load of Eternal Guard in the main battle line. We have triple Way Watchers as well. A Branch Wraith coming in with Pendulum and Earthblood, as is the Classico with them. And I'd like to see Melkov's Mystifying Miasma brought with Branch Wraith a little bit more as well, I think, just to help slow and control the battlefield. And then we have probably the coolest looking dragon in the game, which is the Forest Dragon, or at least of the base dragons. And it is a Glade Lady with a net and the arrows of Kurnos. Very old school, very classic, very fun style of play from the Wood Elves. For the Norscans here, we have a load of Skirmish Cav. I believe 6 Skirmish Cav, so triple Horsemen, triple Horsemasters in the back. Main infantry line is going to be Marauders, and Marauders are great weapons, dotted all the way along, and some in the deep pocket for reserve. Leading the army, we have Wulfric on horseback with his boat as well as Hunted Champions, with a Famir Balefiend of Fire with Fireball and Burning Head. And we have a Ferromanticore flying in the sky, and Soul Crusher, the Regiment of Renowned War Mammoth, leading the battle charge today. Look how awesome he is. He looks very cool. He does have Enrage, which gives him 40% damage resistance, but, oh no, he's a pretty big target. Pretty big target for those Way Watchers, though. They do actually waste some ammunition off the gate, and they basically miss all their shots into some more Horsemen, which you definitely want to save the ammunition, because all of this is killed by a Mammoth. I mean, the Tunnel Guard are okay, but with boats and burning heads, it won't do so good, but he needs to get rid of Soul Crusher with his range. That's going to be very key. He does have a Dragon as well, which with Cycle Charge can do good work. Looks like the shots are currently aimed at the Marauder Horsemen. Not a bad idea. They are relatively cheap, but again, it's trying to gain that battlefield control and mobility at all times and where possible. Glade on Dragon was really good until Dragons became trash. I don't even think Dragons became that trash. I mean, they are definitely bad in the current meta. I feel like it's the meta just really unfavors Dragons, like, so much. Because a lot of range, or like full skirmish, or load of skirmish, is the current meta. And Dragons really suffer under that, of course. Although with this kind of build, I mean, triple Way Watchers and stuff can be okay. Dragons also suffer with mass problems. They can't really get out of infantry that well, so you can certainly drag down a dragon, which if you think about it in real life, could actually happen. That's how a lot of dragons die in these fantasy stuff like The Witcher and Game of Thrones and stuff. They kind of just get overwhelmed by people. So anyway, we've got some more Marauder Horsemen falling back. A load of Way Watcher shots all going after the Marauder Horsemen for now. They still got a load of ammo. They're going to get some insane value. I'd like you guys to take a guess what you think the Way Watcher's value is going to be on the best unit. So what is the most damage value we're going to get from a unit of Way Watchers in today's battle? I can bet you it's going to be a lot. Fireball, oh my god, it hits that dragon square in the chest and actually makes it stutter there, down to 4,000 HP, but hey, it ain't none but a flesh wound, and a load more shots do come after those horsemen, doing some relatively decent damage. Marauders have advanced, just trying to absorb some damage, and a load of shots going to be going in on the Horse Masters this time. They didn't even have to move. The Weight Watchers got a very, very minor debuff to their accuracy, but it seems to have affected them like massively, I think. They seem to miss way more shots than previously done. Soul Crusher's taking quite a lot of damage. A lot of it is actually coming in from the Glade Lady, though. Poor Manticore can't really commit to a fight. I mean, if 100 Champions goes down on the Dragon, the Manticore might be able to do some really solid damage, but of course you need to do that in the later stages of the game, where the Weight Watchers can't influence the battle. Another Burning Head, or Fireball I should say, goes into the Glade Lord, doing some nice work. Mordors with great weapons take a load of damage from the Weight Watchers, up to 23 kills so far, 10 kills and 11. But again, I really wonder what their damage value is going to be. You reckon at 1,500? Yeah, the Mammoth's Duke, and the Mammoth's low-key hilarious when it dukes. Now, the Glade Lady's taking quite a bit of damage right now. She is going to just try to tear apart all of this infantry with some good cycle charging alongside the Wild Riders, which really isn't a bad idea whatsoever, because then the Eternal Guard can just surround the single entities in the endgame and trying to claim victory. A little bit of lag here, unfortunately. Seems to be clearing up, luckily for us, and it looks like, yeah, another Fireball is going to be going in, and a load of shots do clip the Horse Masters. Fireball this time is probably going after that Branch Wraith. No, it's going off the Dragon. Oh my, it goes down and shoots up and catches it. The Track and Fireball. We do get an Earthblood go down on the Glade Lady, and that damage is coming in really slow. Warfric the Wanderer does have his shield raised. He's also been hit by Prey of enough Raymer, though, and he's not having a good day whatsoever. One more volley, and he could certainly be in a bucket ton of trouble. Load more shots do rain down. Live, Warfric, live. The people need you. But it looks like he is going to be able to escape if he moves quick enough, though the Glade Lady can just simply sit on top of him now and finish him off with her shots. She actually misses, though, just as I say that. So 100 Champions goes down. It looks like the Manticore, he's had enough of lurking in the shadows. He's going to go in directly after this Glade Lady. Did some really nice damage, and a bucket ton of friendly fire could come in here. This is really risky from the Weight Watchers. They're trying to get to the Manticore, but he's on the other side of this Dragon. One wrong micro move here by the Glade Lady, and she could be dead. She takes so much damage from this Manticore. 100 Champions, such a powerful spell, and or item, I should say. Or ability. There we go. Finally got there at last. Warfric the Wanderer does still live. Now, the Soul Crusher is slamming into the Wild Riders on this flank, doing a good job. More of the Horsemen are actually charging onto the Glade Riders and Spearmen. They need to fall back out of there as quickly as possible. And the Weight Watchers are like, we need to save our lady. We need to save her, but they can't get their shots off. Manticore continues to apply that pressure, but now switches targets, jumps down on those Weight Watchers before deciding to retreat back away once more. Glade Lady took a ton of damage. Going to be getting healed up quite nicely, though, by some Earthblood. Soul Crusher is crushing souls, as to be expected. Move for the Eternal Guard, and unfortunately for that Manticore, he takes a big, fat, juicy volley to the face, and the Weight Watchers are going to be able to rampage it, though it still will be hunting them down. It seems to do some of its own juking as well. So, hey, not the worst target to hit, but he's probably going to receive a rather nasty charge here from the Glade Lady. Load of Weight Watcher shots going to the Horse Masters, doing some good work there. On the right-hand side, though, the Soul Crusher is being a beast. He rears up onto his hind legs and comes swinging back down. Wild Riders in glorious slow-mo there, falling off the back of their stags and getting ground into a small, murky paste. Load of shots coming from the Weight Watchers, though Enrage does go down on the Soul Crusher. He's also being used to body block those shots away from Warfric the Wanderer. Now, Fireball is going to come in, looking to connect with the Glade Lady. Manticore, unfortunately, does shatter, but hey, you're a good Manticore. You did some solid work through the duration of that battle. We're going to get a boat come down, do some really lovely damage to the Eternal Guard. They should probably lose to the Marauders now, because they're most likely going to break. Warfric is a very danger low. He needs to stick next to the Soul Crusher to try to dissuade any sniper attempts from the Glade Lady, though she still has 4 ammo. It won't kill her, Warfric, but should do a decent amount of damage to probably force him off the battlefield. We have some horsemen nearby looking to support. We do have a net to go down on Warfric, and oh no! No, he's been bathed in noxious breath. Warfric the Wanderer, say goodbye, my friend. There is no way he's clinging on right now. Surely he breaks. Surely the Chad! He's just putting his middle finger right up into that Glade Lady's face. I ain't scared of your petty dragon. I'll stand. I don't care about a little bath. And he's actually breaking the Eternal Guard. Warfric the Wanderer, Chad of the North. So the Glade Lord almost breaks there, but does get yet another clutch Earthblood coming down. We're going to see a Pendulum go down the line. There's a lot of damage to Eternal Guard, but also the great weapons. It looked like it was a losing fight anyway for them. Horsemen are going to be kiting back the Wild Riders. If they can get some decent distance and help protect the Balefiend, they might be in an okay position. Soul Crusher is very healthy, guys. He is very healthy. Warfric should probably hide in the trees for now, because we still have Weight Watchers about, and they have decent amounts of ammunition. So hitting the Soul Crusher is going to be huge. It's a scrappy affair. I do think the Wood Elves are in a really good position, though, if those Weight Watchers can indeed unleash all their shots on to the Mammoth. Wulfric's not that much of a problem, apart from 100 champions, which he can drop on the Glade Lady in the later stages of the game. It's going to come down to, can the Mammoth juke the shots? He does not juke that volley whatsoever and takes a load in the flank, but the Glade Lady, with that glorious swooping animation, actually dodges the fireball, which is pretty huge right now. Horsemen are assisting in trying to protect the Bale Fiend, who's an okay melee combatant, who's also going to be bringing a Burning Head onto the Wild Riders. Is it going to catch them? It does manage to roast a few, not many, but hey, damage is damage at the end of the day, and Horsemen can certainly add that damage up as well. Even the Glade Lady does ride through the storm, but she's going to be moving over here to assassinate the enemy caster, a good priority target in my humble opinion. Load of shots do coming out the Soul Crusher. A load missed though, but he's down to just 2,300 HP, and a Healing Dragon might be enough, particularly with breath attacks now, to actually drag him down and finish him off, despite the way Watcher's looking at pretty low ammunition-wise. Wolfie the Wanderer is only at 430 HP. Enrage does go down. Real clutch play there by the green one, trying to keep the Mammoth alive. It is getting very low, though, leadership-wise, and it does look like the Weight Watchers will be finishing off Wolfie the Wanderer here. Down he goes in a bolt of arrows, and due to the debuff there to the leadership, followed up by Breath Attack, I don't think the Soul Crusher can stand and fight. It does actually break off both the Wild Riders as a fireball. Hits the Glade Lady so low HP-wise, but the Soul Crusher is having its own dreams crushed by the Weight Watchers, who are basically out of ammunition. These two units still have some left in them. Glade Lady is going to try to snipe the caster here, although some horsemen charge headlong into the dragon to try to keep it away from the Bale Fiend. These guys are some loyal horsemen. Give them a raise as they do shatter and break. A very close game there. Very well played to Green One. I think he played pretty exceptional considering. I think the opponent's build was relatively well played to counter him. Likewise, Charax knew what he needed to do, needed to keep these Weight Watchers alive, and they did fantastic. 1,647 damage value, 1,500 and 1,500. Looks like Dacta was very close with his predictions. I think these Weight Watchers got maybe a little bit more. They got the 1.6 there, so they were definitely a standout unit. Glade Lady got 1.8k damage value, still had one more breath attack left in the tank as well, I believe. Only 100 damage value on the branch wraith, but those healings were pretty clutch. Tunnel Guard didn't do too much. 700 damage value is the best they did. That's pretty decent, but the others kind of faltered. Likewise, the Glade Riders, 500 value, 240, 1,000 on the Wild Riders, and 949. For the green one, Mr. Wulfric the Wanderer got 570 damage value, 1.7 on the Bale Fiend. Wow, that was some really nice fireballs over the course of the battlefield. Marauders did okay across the board. Nothing amazing, really. 500 damage value on the Cavalry, 100, again, kind of mid-hundreds. It's nothing too crazy. 700 on the Manticore did a really good job hunting down that Glade Lady. If he had managed to finish her off, then it would have been a hugely different story, and he would have won, probably. Because no more breath attacks, no more nets, but alas, it was not to be. Soul Crusher, only 548 damage value, but a Chad centerpiece to any build. GG. That was awesome. That was a really awesome game. Is it going to be a Wood Elf Civil War? I love it. Dr. Jellyfish, Weight Watchers have too much ammo. I feel like Weight Watchers are fine. They're like... Oh, unless you mean about the battle. But if you mean in general, I don't feel like Weight Watchers are overpowered or anything. I feel like they're fine. That little debuff they had to the accuracy is really huge. And, you know, they do pay for themselves here. We don't see them getting anywhere near the amount of work done they used to. Nice old school Wood Elf build. 100%, Sergio. 100%. Classic Wood Elf says Wicked D. What's up, the Evermore, Mr. Wicked D? Hope you're all good. Yeah, they managed to burst down Wulfric, but I guess he was on a horse, so he wasn't worth so much money. Norska will not yield. Norska did good, man. Norska did good, but they weren't quite able to take it there. Good luck next game. See you in the semis. Cool, so up next we have, I believe it was Mr. Brindle got through up against Karadog. Let's see if they've opened a lobby. Oh, apparently I can only see one battle. That doesn't look good. There we go. That's a bit better. I don't think they have opened a lobby. I didn't see it. I can always host one. So let's go Granby versus Karadog. And we can open it up. Our arrows will blot out the sun. Then we will fight in the dead. In the dead. We will fight. Yeah, they get raised back. Don't worry. Let's go browse the map. And invite the boys in. So. I believe I have both these guys as friends. Karadog. And where are you, Mr. Brindle? There you are, Chad Forgram. Let's add them both in. What's up, Zypher? How's it going, man? You've missed some pretty awesome games, but we've still got a load to come. So this is the last quarter-final, and then we're going to be moving on to 2 semi-finals and a final. So let's change the names. Right-hand side is Karadog. And the right-hand side, we're just going to put Chad. Because he's currently going by the name Chad Forgram, I think Mr. Brindle is. So let's just go Chad. Let's make that nice and big. Bam, look at that, Chad. Awesome. So I have a message from Intisty, but I will reply to him a little bit after. Here's some cool collaboration with him. Hi, good luck, have fun. Awesome. Yo, yo. Looking forward to this. And let's go. So it is Bretonnia versus Dwarves, guys. Show me a Great Stag Knight build, and I'll also cheer for it. Yeah, Great Stags look so cool. They're very powerful at the moment. On the Cav Beaters, and they're already good, but the Cav Beaters made them really good. They're some of the best cavalry in the game, if not the best. They're very, very good at the moment. Oh no, man. Oh no. Why would Rangers I've seen pay for themselves like once? They can be used in some matchups, but they're very, very, very niche. Good afternoon, everyone, but the green one. Oh no! Josme, that's so rude. That's so rude. That's so rude. Because, you know, poor green one's just lost the game. It's Karadog? Yeah, it's Karadog versus Brindle. Wolfric thought he would be safe in the trees from the Wood Elves. Yeah, Nathis. Maybe not the best place to hide if you're against Wood Elves. The trees talk to them. What up, Logic? What up, what up, what up? Yeah, they're like very niche. The Wildwood Rangers, you're playing like 2 matchups maybe. And even then, like, you got a 50% chance of them just dying. But they can be used now and again in a certain very few matchups. They're just so squishy. I feel there's often better options in the form of like Blade Singers and stuff. Logic, hope you're all good, man. You've made it in time to see the last of the quarterfinals. Then we have 2 best-of-1 semis and a best-of-1 final. This is Brindle versus Karadog. So we'll have to load in here and see how it goes. Even when you take Blade Singers for extra sexiness. I mean, Blade Singers are pretty badass. War Dancers are a little bit cooler, I would argue. Although the double Blade Singer stance is very badass as well. Azrai Spears, though, come on. Azrai Spears is still the best. Still the best out of all the War Dancer style units. If you guys are enjoying, by the way, make sure to drop a big old thumbs up and subscribe and all that good standard YouTube stuff I have to say. There's links down below. More stuff, YouTube stuff down there. And Twitch stuff. I have a Twitch channel, it's crazy. And actually, me and Mr. Logic were doing a co-op stream over on Twitch just yesterday, doing some campaign. I have some really funny clips for it as well that I want to upload to YouTube. There is, yeah, I don't want to spoil it. There is an amazing clip from our stream that I'm going to be pinning on YouTube probably tomorrow. It is hilarious. So hopefully Brindle is loaded in. I know his PC sometimes struggles, so we'll have to wait and see how it goes. What's up, J Phoenix? How are you doing? Long time no see. Hope you're all well. Hope you're all good. Go on, Brindle, I believe in you. I believe in your PC. Don't do this again to me, buddy. Sometimes when he loads into games, he, like, doesn't load in. He, like, really struggles. So, let's see. And then if it's him or Karadog right now we're waiting for. Normally when this top bar appears, players load in, but it doesn't seem to be happening. So let's pray. I am once again going to work. No! No, work is for the weak. I'll write you a sick note. It'd be awesome. It'd be well crafted. I can stamp it with like a little duck print. It's going to look really legit. Like full legitness. The sexiest Wood Elves units are the Zotes. You make a good point. Turtles are really cool. And I actually made friends with a 115-year-old tortoise once. We were bros. We were vibing, chilling out. He liked watermelon. I liked watermelon. It was a connection. He was a cool dude. I can't remember his name, but he was cool. I think he had quite a weird name, to be honest. Right, let me check my Discord, see if Brindle sent me a message about his PC. I have a message from Brindle. Whether the Karadog is on the map, because I am. Oh god, I do not know. Can I hear their forces? Nope. Let's load over here. Normally you can hear their armies. Maybe I'm not in the right place. Okay, if this doesn't work, I'll just get Brindle to host. I'll send him a little message now. If this does not work, you can host. See if that fixes it. Hopefully that'll fix it. Yeah, he dropped from the game. Okay, I mean, at least he's dropped now. So we can just load back in and get Brindle to host. Cool thing as well, there's no problem of like, oh no, my opponent's seen my army. Because we all know what the army is anyway. Yo, yo. I will let Granby host. See if that helps. Cool. So he'll just have to, his game probably crashed, so he'll just load up the game and then we'll wait for him to host the lobby. Chad Brindle, man, Brindle man! It's always mean. It's always him. What's up, Cop Wussov? Quack quack indeed. Wood Elves are boring to watch? I don't know, man. I feel like Wood Elves are either the most boring to watch or the most fun, depending on who's playing them. There's some really fun stuff you can do with Wood Elves. Like, some really fun stuff. ASOIAF. God, that looks familiar, but I don't know what that is. What is that? What does that stand for? Chad, son of Chad. He is very Chad-like. Granby had a problem with his PC in the game versus me. Yeah, I know it happens. Oh, a Song of Ice and Fire. There's a game for A Song of Ice and Fire? What's the game? Obviously, I know the books and the TV show. Okay, let's see what he says. Go, yeah. Send me an invite when it is created. And we will wait. Oh, nice big fat stretch there. Why is there a lobby called Box's Cockfighting Ring? Who is this? Who is this? One called Wood Elf Mirror. There's some weird titles in here, guys. Some weird titles. It is the Game of Thrones tabletop game. Cool. Is it kind of like Warhammer where you build armies, or is it a bit different? Me and Logic play Game of Thrones Risk, which is a little bit different to normal Risk. Can be very good fun. It can be very good fun. And are you doing it on like a simulator, or are you doing it in like person? It used to be a bread game, I believe. I'm all about bread games. Okay. Yeah, Gromro's just resetting his PC. His PC's died, and then we'll hop back in. And then we'll go on after this to... We've got, yeah, 2 more semi-finals. Lotus Moon used to play it, Tom? Sweet. Don't know if you ever played it on stream or not. Let's, while we wait, do a little bit of a poll. What do we have next? So we have Dual Source is Britonia, and then Beastmen is Tank, which would be the semi-final after this, and we have Dactors Wood Elves versus Charax Wood Elves, which I thought the full Cav's going to do very good against the Triple Way Watchers. Or it's probably going to be like the Tomb King game, like, can he protect them enough? Can he protect them enough? So let's do a nice little poll. Which build is more badass? Full Cav. Full Gobbo. Full Skink. Full Kite. Bam. The greatest poll that was ever created. Let's get that bumping. Yeah, so which build is the more badass? Full Cavalry, full Gobbo, full Skink, or full Kite? My heart says full Skink, because of course the Dino Boys. You've got to represent the Dino Boys. Full Gobbo can be very cool as well. It's like Warhammer where you build miniatures, sort of been playing a mix of physical and tabletop simulator. Awesome, that's kind of cool. I would 100% have a Stark army, or a North-themed army, I would think. But I don't know what era it's set in. I don't know, like... Is there much variety? That's my one concern. It's not like Warhammer. There's so much variety, right, in what units you can bring. But for the most part, it's just men and knights, right? I guess you could get dragons if you were Daenerys, but that seems slightly OP compared if no one else could get a dragon. So I wonder how it's like balanced and stuff. Full kites for people who pour a milk after cereal? Mate, you can pour milk after cereal. That is fine. You can add cereal to the bowl and then pour milk in. Otherwise you might do too much milk. You don't pour milk and then add the cereal. You're a madman, Mala. Full Skink sounds like a Meta Lizardmen versus Wood Elf build. I mean, kind of, and then Wood Elf go Cav and you die. But yeah, lots of Skink can still be done. Oh, Krablin had the best build of the tournament, 100%. Krablin's build was very cool, Falcon's build was very cool, he had like a Star Dragon and everything. But Krablin's build was a full Boar Boy build with Wozak and a Black Orc Big Boss, both on boars as well. It was amazing. Yeah, we never got to see Krablin on the stream, sadly, but his build was cool. Cereal ain't crunchy if you wet them? Man, you have to... You put the cereal in, you put the milk in, you devour. The only time you put cereal into milk is when you're going for that second bowl. This is known. This is known. This is the way, right? It's set during the books. There's a lot of variety, but a lot of it is from Lords and Tactics, yeah. Starks used to be super OP, but they're balanced now. Okay. Yeah, I'd either be the Starks, or I'd be Oberyn Martell if you could bring him, because he was one of my favourite characters, though he was a rather brief character. Yeah, full Gobbo can generally be fun. Yeah, full Gobbo Vanguard builds are hilarious. Yeah, Pig Tonir it was. Milk after cereal is the standard. Milk before is just madness. I'm glad I'm not the only one. Wait, no! No! No, Sam, you're lying. Milk after cereal is the standard. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. So you're right, Sam. Sorry, we're on the same wavelength. Me and Sam know what we're doing. We know exactly what we're doing. What am I listening to and what did I connect to? What's that, Ronan? I'm literally just waiting for Brindle to host a lobby. He had to restart his PC because okay, so he's still starting his PC. So we're just going to move on to the next game and then we'll come back to theirs. So we're going to move on now to one of the semi-finals. So Dacta and Charax, if you guys are around, we'll do your game now. Let's message them. Dacta and Charax. We can do your game now while we wait for Granby to load his PC. Let's see if they've opened a lobby. I don't think they have yet. I'll let them host a lobby, just whichever one wants to. And we'll just hop into a semi-final, then we'll come back to the quarterfinal and do the second semi-final. The true Chad build is full Gobbo Cavalry build. I have done something like that for sure. I brought a full Wolf build once. It was legendary. Cereal before milk is meta. Oh, I'm so glad I'm not insane. I'm not the only one. It is the way. You don't want too much milk, so well, the way you do it is like you put the cereal in, you get the milk in, and then you start to you just go full pace, full pace. You eat those Honey Nut Cheerios as quickly as possible, as full as possible. You say Cheerio to those Cheerios as quickly as possible. I like how this has become the discussion in a Total War Warhammer tournament. So let's. Oh, Wood Elf Mirror might be the name of it. Let's see. I don't want to join some wrong guys, Finn. Oh, is that the right one? But I know these guys are both bringing Wood Elves. So let's check it out. Hey! Yo, yo. Yo. Granby's PC is still loading. So we will do the semi first. And let's make the map. Boo, 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 boo. I'm not sure I can take sub-faction. Yeah, you can take sub-faction if you want. If it is the same build, go for it. If not, it's fine as it is. I will survive. And let's make the map. Bum, 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 bum. Tend to put them in a really small map just to laugh at them, but I'm not going to. That'd be mean. Those are the two Wood Elf forces. Let's go Tower of Hoeth as map. Tower of Hoeth for the map. Let me double check I didn't give them Tower of Hoeth in an earlier round. I did not. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. Filthy Elgi mirror match. Yeah, guys, we're just going to hop straight into this Wood Elf mirror match, and then we're going to go back and do the core final between the Dwarfs and the Bretonnians. We'll let Brindle host this time, so his PC hopefully will survive. And then we'll be moving directly on to that semi-final up against Tank. So, sorry about the weird mixed match, but we're getting there. Yeah, Phoenix, if you've got like some cool links to any of the stuff for the board game, like shoot them across. I'm quite interested in it. Rip Way Watchers. I mean, it's going to come down to can he protect those Way Watchers now. It seems like an impossible task, but he does have a net. He also has a load of spears and cavalry of his own to try to pin the enemy in place. It's really going to come down to can he keep the Way Watchers alive long enough, just like Cap Tellus versus him with those Ushopti. That's actually what's going to come down to. Hope you guys are enjoying the stream, by the way. If you are, make sure to leave a cheeky thumbs up and subscribe. Of course, we're in that big downtime between content for Total War, so I think all Total War content creators are struggling a little bit right now. So your support, of course, as always, is greatly appreciated. As we await for Warhammer 3, man, I'm so buzzed for Warhammer 3. I can't wait. Can't wait. I got some really cool stuff coming up next month as well. Some really cool events that I'm going to be live streaming with you guys next month, but they're all top secret duck stuff at the moment. So that'll be revealed later on. It looks like we're going to get our wish. So someone was saying in the Tin King game that he should have gone box, and that's just what Charax's going to try here. So we have an Eternal Guard box with the Branch Wraith in the middle. The Triple Way Watchers will fall back to this box, and then we have Glade Riders and Wild Riders dotted all the way around. Glade Lady is going to be up in the sky now. Really funny tactic right now from Dacta. After I said, I didn't think I could see his forces, but they're hidden in the trees. He's actually going to go Mass Vanguard right now. So we have, of course, for him, we've seen this build before, but a load of Glade Riders, a load of Wild Riders, great Stag Knights in the mix as well, led by Orion. He has a load of troops in the trees over here. I'm not sure what he's doing this for. We have, like, I think he's just moving it all across. I think he's just going to be moving for a full Vanguard push, which is a good, funny way to do it, because it means the Way Watchers are going to be out of position instantly, and this box is going to have to rotate round. These Eternal Guard are instantly going to want to fall back and then reform the battle line, but that's certainly easier said than done. So yeah, it's going to be a full rush. All the Wild Riders, Orion, Branch Wraith, Great Stags, all that juicy stuff. I'm looking forward to this quite a bit. My thumb has gone right up there. Thank you, Tom. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Go Charix, screams Phoenix, representing. I believe Charix is RTK, right? I think so. Representing your clanmate there. Hopefully this helps you to not starve. Thank you, Zypher, thank you. Although I've got a rent renewal coming up in a couple of months, which is going to be a load of fun. So we'll see how that goes. It's not looking... It looks like I'm going to be paying quite a bit more monies, but I shall survive. I don't need much to live. I'm a duck. I can eat bread. And bread and rice, which I'm sure is going to be the main thing that you give the ducks, right? So we have Wild Riders and Glade Riders hitting the trees on the left. Instantly, the Boxer's going to reposition, which is a good idea, because he's probably a little bit scared. I don't know if you can actually see anything right now. Orion can hide in woods, right? Surely. Yeah, he's hidden. So the entire build's hidden. He has no idea where they are, so he's just pushing towards the middle of the map, which is probably the safest bet. I'd push this way towards the tower, because you know it's going to be away from the trees. And it looks like the Glade Riders will now be spreading out. And all these Wild Riders have now been spotted, so Chax should indeed know where they are. And a big thumping bolt comes flying from Orion, dragging down a couple of Glade Riders with one throw, though Orion gets netted, and this is really bad news. Now, there is a load of trees, but I don't think they're going to help him much. Orion throws a javelin, which does protect him from the worst of that first volley, as his attack animation swerves out of the way. He's going to get an Earth Flood, but likewise, he's getting breath attacked, he's getting a second volley on him. Orion might be dead here, folks. It looks like he has managed to survive, though he needs to get moving as swiftly as possible. All the cavalry is starting to come in and commit. It needs to at least drag back these troops. Glade decided to go after Orion, then thought better of it. Wild Riders slam into the Tunnel Guard shield wall, and this is the problem with the box. It's just broken, like instantly. Only having one line of spears. The Wild Riders, the Glade Riders, they're all just going to swarm in, and it's an absolute mess. Wild Riders have taken some damage. Looks like the Way Watchers are going to get harassed from all different angles. Lovely Pendulum is about to catch 2 units of cavalry right now. Oh, beautiful cast there coming in by Charix. Glade Lady is trying to kill Orion as quickly and swiftly as possible. Wild Riders are pushing back up against the Wild Riders of the enemy, and though the box crumpled, did those Way Watchers in their limited use of ammunition do enough right now? Because the Eternal Guard are doing fantastic, and if Orion goes off the field, they won't have all these Vortex abilities. But we do have the first one coming down here, doing some good work. Now, Wild Riders are chasing back the Great Stag Knights with pretty good effectiveness, using those cavalry to bunch up with the Eternal Guard. Seems to be doing a relatively decent job, but now the Glade Lady is stuck on the floor. She needs to get up into the sky and start shooting down Orion. Would love to see some more pendulums come down the line. We are going to get one, but it is not from Charix. It is from here, Dacta's Branch Wraith, doing some massive damage to the enemy infantry, which you'd like to see. Now, Orion's getting danger low. Good news for him is he has the Cloak of Isha, so he shall be healing up. I don't know if it's going to be enough DPS to kill him over his healing cap. We'll have to wait and see. Down to 600 HP. He was on to 800. Big Breath Attack is going to commit to the fight as well. Does catch him. He's down to 294 HP. He needs to be finished off now, but is it going to be enough? Way Watchers are just about alive. Eternal Guard are keeping back the enemy. Wild Riders are nearby for support, and some Way Watchers have actually returned to the battlefield. Glade Lady is going to try to snipe Orion. She lands on him, and down the King of the Woods goes. You are the king of nothing. And it looks like Dacta is actually going to pull out there rather quickly. The box absolutely got crumbed, but it did not matter because, unfortunately for Dacta, Orion just got slaughtered. Way Watchers, in their short lifespan, didn't do much at all, but the Glade Lady, 2.8k damage value, netting Orion getting massive damage plus the breath attacks, was the end of him. Now, I think it was a bit of an early withdrawal. We had the Branch Wraith to kill the remainder of the Eternal Guard. Only one Way Watcher was alive, and he still had decent amounts of cavalry, so maybe a bit of frustration possibly from Orion going down, but it did look bleak. It did look very bleak, particularly the Dragon alive, so I don't know if he could have won it. It's unlikely. It's unlikely. Particularly against someone against like Charix, who doesn't give you many opportunities to get back into games. He's a very good player at seeing out games overall. But damn. That was that was insane. That was insane. Those breath attacks, man. 2.8 on the Glade Lady. I love the fact we're seeing a Forest Dragon into the finals of a tournament like this once more. 620 damage value on the Branch Wraith. The Eternal Guard did really good for their short duration of this battle. 370 damage value, but then 600. Again, just shy of 600. Another 600. Way Watchers did really bad. 400 value, 300, 296. So nothing crazy there. A little bit unlucky in that first volley because Orion thrown that javelin actually made him avoid like half their shots. 1.2 and 1.1 damage value on the Wild Riders counteracted a lot of Dacta's cavalry, simply due to the fact they could saturate with those spears. And it did some really good work there. As for poor Orion, 670 damage values. Not terrible, considering how much damage he took. 200 value on the Branch Wraith. And yeah, without the Hounds of Orion, the Eternal Guard were a bit of a problem there. 640, 580 and 300 damage value on the Glade Riders. As for the Wild Riders, 1000 value, 345, 940, 540, 490 and 725 for the Great Stag Knights. GG's. GG. See you in the finals. So hopefully Brindle is back up and running. Charax indeed. Say sucks at balancing. I heavily disagree, to be honest, John. I think it's almost an impossible game to perfectly balance, and there will always be stuff that is more powerful. But for the most part, I think the game's in a relatively solid situation with the Cav Beater. Yes, Skirmish Cav's too powerful. Yeah, there's still a few lords and characters which are way overtuned and whatnot. But yeah, it's not like terrible or anything, to be honest. So Weight Watchers over Cav Rush. I mean, the Weight Watchers didn't do that much, honestly. It was the Glade Lady with those breath attacks. They did okay. They managed to damage Orion a little bit, but their damage value was pretty terrible. But yeah, getting Orion killed was basically huge. Even if Orion had just sat in the woods and used his horn when he like crumped the box, and then just like survived a little bit later to the Weight Watchers were done for, I think he would have been in a bit better position. But hey, that's like way easier to say with hindsight. So we have one called Duck Quack. Let's see if this is the right lobby. I don't think I changed the names, unfortunately, before we hopped in. So the names were wrong there. That was Dacta versus Charax. Let's hop in here, and the lads are here. So yeah, we got Karadog versus Chad. Okay, sorry about that, guys, but we're back. Yo yo. Take two. Take two. No, it wasn't the sisters. It was a Glade Lady. The Glade Lady can do a load of damage to Ryan on the charge. I mean, she can shoot him as well and just kind of kite, but also the breath attacks. I can't remember what map we were on. We did choose a map. I believe it wasn't Gorgazan, it was one like Gorgazan. I think it was Galbaraz. I believe it was Galbaraz. Yeah, no, Orion can still be pretty good, just in a few niche matchups. I'd argue against Empire. Not meta, I suppose. You're probably still going to see the Glade Lady quite a bit with the nets to pin people in if you're going for that Weight Watcher style of play. But he's decent up against Volkmar, and Volkmar can be a big problem. It can be a big problem. Yeah, it was the Glady. Oh, it's a big fat juicy stretch. Man, we got over like 90 people watching. I hope you guys are enjoying. I'm really enjoying getting back into tournaments. We took a big break because I was hosting a load of tournaments like every week. But we're going to come back to doing like 2 tournaments a week probably. I think we're starting DVD Season 10, which might be the last season before Warhammer 3. It depends. I wanted to do something special for Season 10, obviously for the fact it is Season 10, but we'll see. I assume I'm doing like money prize, but also some like dark merch as prize as well. It's the biggest nerf to anything in the game. Dacta, I'd like to introduce you to the Ancient Salamander, my friend. That Ancient Salamander, my god. It used to be so good. Yes! Praise Grumbindle's PC. The Dowie technology has caught up with the rest of the humans, and he has indeed loaned it in. Gonna be some good fun. So, for the forces of Granby, we do have a load of dwarfs, as expected. We have Phoric Ironbrow here, coming with the Rune of Doom, Rune of Wrath and Ruin, Rune of Speed, and Rune of Slowness. That's what I think they are from their symbols. Let's see how right I was. Rune of Slowness, correct. Rune of Speed, correct. Oh my god, we're so pro, so pro. So we have Fulgrim here. We have 1 Bolt Thrower, which is quite nice, just to entice enemies in. We have Dwarf Warriors and Longbeards making up the main battle formation, backed up by Dragonslayers and more Slayers. We then have Ironbreakers and Norglin's Ironbreakers, and then a load of Quarrelers. Pretty cool build, pretty cool build. None of the regiment-round Rangers, which kind of sucks, because they allow Quarrelers to hit way above their normal weight. Now, normally this matchup is borderline unwinnable for the Bretonnians, or it's really rough for the Bretonnians, a really bad matchup for them, but because it's this one build format, it gets slightly easier or slightly worse, depending on what build you've actually taken. Now, for the forces of Karadog, we have the Companions of Quinellus. We have, I believe, a load more cavalry as well. Yeah, the Defenders of Fleur de Lis, Grail Knights, and Grail Knights. Wait, Grail Knights do magic damage, right? Oh, that's Yeah, these Ground Knights are going to do absolutely nothing. 38 melee attack and magic attack against dwarfs. That is not going to get through their melee defense and magic resistance. We have a load of peasant mobs in the front line. We have a couple of spear units, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 archers. And leading the battle line is going to be Double Paladin Fae, which is, you know, kind of the standard. So Fae Enchantress does have Dwellers below, which could do some decent damage here, and Earthblood. Looking forward to it. I don't know if there's enough archers to really win this. I think the dwarf build's very capable of taking down this Bretonnian force. But we'll have to see how the players play it, of course. Yeah, the Sally got like, man. Zypher, I would love to make a custom duck. I cannot find a website to make a custom rubber duck. Grimgor. I mean, Grimgor again can be used super nichely, but you have to kind of use like Gorkle Fix-It next to him and the Slow of the Jumpshot Hag if you want to catch anything, and then he can like dumpster someone like Volkmar really easily. But yeah, he's really niche and is almost always a better option. That's kind of the main problem for Grimgor. Like, he's a decent character, it's just he's a foot character who has way better options, you know, alongside him. And he's doesn't have healing, so he can't go to like Sigurd levels of power. But it is what it is. Bretonnians are going to just vibe at the moment, just slowly move up their force, trying to get the peasant archers in range. Of course, the dwarves can sit back. They have a bolt thrower. They can just unleash hell upon the enemy. And you can see some bolts fly up in the sky and go at the peasants. They're certainly not going to be liking this much at all. In fact, the peasants explode as the bolts hit them. Oh no! Life is bad for a peasant most of the time, but having a big old bolt through your chest probably makes it even more painful. Now, the quarrelers should be able to outtrade the peasant bowmen relatively effectively, so the bolt thrower is going to want to shoot at the cavalry, but you can see Karadog very sensibly going very wide, making them out of range of the bolt thrower until the very last opportunity. Fae Enchantress gets hit by a rune of slowness. She's trying to juke back and forth, though is taking quite a few crossbow bolts here to the pony, and is, yeah, losing a little bit of HP, but it's not too much of the phase. She can heal, and it's just the dwarves using up ammunition because they might as well while she's nearby. Looks like Double Paladin's going to be vibing out over on the left-hand side. Thoric Ironbrow won't actually do that terrible up against the Paladin, I don't think. They are anti-enlarged and he's on his toilet seat, but he is very tanky. Paladins can be a little bit on the squishy side. Unfortunately for the peasant mobs, they are getting whittled down now by arrows, which is kind of their job for Bretonnia. It's like, hey lads, I can't promise you glory, but I can promise you almost certain death. Get on that frontline infantry job, and a load of them have died, but hey, that's kind of what they've been brought for. Bolt throwers continue to go after Fae. Hasn't managed to clip her too much just yet. Some of the peasants might actually break before they hit the front line. Now, there's no blasting charges from miners, but we do have the double iron breakers on the flanks who could be used to clear out kind of the spearmen at arms. The lack of infantry as well means they're not going to be able to swarm the dwarves too well. And if you just focus on the peasants, it's not actually the end of the world. But yeah, longbows should just move in, kill the peasants, use your range, kill the enemy range, and then it's just cavalry against a load of heavily armoured dwarfs. Shots are starting to rain in. Looks like at the moment they're aiming at the dwarf warriors. They could target down the bolt thrower, but it's not doing too much damage to them at the moment. And now the crawlers have formed just behind that shield wall and are unleashing bolt after bolt into the peasant bowmen, who are really not having the best of days so far. Fae Enchantress has taken a bit of a pounding. She's stopped moving right now, so the bolt thrower has actually been able to connect and do some okay damage to her. Plus she will of course miscast where next to Thoric Ironbrow. Knights of Realm do push in, as well as the companions down here. They're overwhelming the dwarf warriors on this flank, though there are some slayers looking to counterpunch them. And the knights are very quickly going to move back. Same is happening on the other flank, but the dwarf warriors this time, or dwarf slayers, are a little bit quicker to react, so they're able to drive these guys away. Thoric Ironbrow cares very little for the Fae Enchantress and Paladin threat and just moves directly into combat with them. He is supported by the Ironbreakers, of course, who can do some really lovely damage. Well, the big fat dwellers below go down underneath the dwarf warriors here, as well as some of the Ironbreakers. Unfortunately, though, for the Bretonnians, the Ironbreakers, for the majority, were outside of that radius on this left-hand side. Up to 26 kills, cleaving many a peasant mob aside. Imagine being a peasant. You just tend in your fields and you get forced into battle against a load of heavily armoured dwarfs who have almost impregnable armour. It'd be a nightmare. Whenever a potion of Chalice come down, doesn't seem to connect with too much, unfortunately. And Thorgrim's just absorbing all this Paladin strike. Ground Knights are charging in. They're going to do 0 damage to Thoric here with their magic attacks. He's the perfect target to absorb that kind of stuff. Fae Enchantress gets hit by a load of blasting charges, then casts Earthblood in the turn, miscasts, and takes a couple of shots from the bolt throwers for her troubles. Peasant archers are still alive at the moment, though not for long if the quarrelers have their way, continuing to rain shots in. They are now focused down the companions, who are going in a desperate retreat now away from the main battle line. The defenders charge in onto the Iron Breakers, not being able to pierce that thick armor, and in come the Slayers, axes raised, and they actually managed to drag down 4 of the pure fellows here who decide to ride into battle today. Look at this guy, he just has no chance of escaping. This one might be able to be left alive to go tell his friends not to mess with the Dowie. Another Dwellers does go down. Dragonslayers with a Master Rune of Speed do manage to escape the worst of the damage there. Likewise do the Iron Breakers, but it will leave Thoric isolated and alone. Double Paladin slowly working on him, but it is taking them so long. And he's been buffed up to 69 melee attack, meaning he's going to hit pretty hard, and the Iron Breakers can now return. In fact, they're lining up their blasting charges. Yeet! Throwing them in there, and they're actually aiming them all at a Paladin, I think, doing some okay damage. Moving into hand-to-hand combat. Elsewhere, Grail Knights have forced their way into the back line. Some of the Quarrelers are being shut down right now. Knights of the Realm trying their hardest to beat back all these Quarrelers. Unfortunately, there is 55 Slayers nearby who are doing a decent job just dragging down the Knights. And Dragback Slayers are also starting to float over. Really good news for Bretonnians is that all the Peasant Bowmen are back and online and starting to shoot shots in. Finishing off the Slayers would be a good target. Unfortunately for them, though, one Paladin has been dealt with. The second one not too far off the cards. Longbeards are starting to drive back the Peasant Bowmen, which is a really nice play. There's not that much cavalry left on the field, which can deal with these guys effectively. And it looks like they're all trying to ramrod and charge in to beat back the Ironbreakers. Fair Enchantress does get in here and trying to do the dirty onto the Quarrelers, and Earthblood comes down to heal up the Grail Knights and herself, but once again, she will get that miscast there. Master Rune of Slowness goes down on her, plus the Dragonback Slayers being nearby. Her speed is down to 10, which is so slow. That's like a halfling speed. Look at it go. It's trying to get out of danger, but the horse is panicking. It doesn't know where to go, and down to 670 HP. Both the Paladins were forced back by Thoric Ironbound. A load of blasting charges into the back of the Fae as she disappears in a haze of fire and rotting unicorn flesh. Well played to Chad Thorgrim, well played to Karadog. I think Karadog did about as good as he could. Build versus build, that is kind of the build roulette system. So Thorgrim is going to be moving on to the semi-final now, up against Tank's Beastmen, which is going to be a very fun game. The winner of that will meet Charax's Wood Elf Waywatcher Snipe Tactics, which I love that dragon so much. It's very cool stuff. So let's see how these guys did today. Thoric Ironbrow, 1.3k damage value, holding back the Paladins, doing some really nice work. Dwarf Warriors, 420, 140, 388, and 850 damage value there on the Longbeards and Dwarf Warriors. Slayers didn't have the best of days, only 300 value. The other one, though, 1.1k is quite nice. Ironbreakers were amazing. And look at the health. It's almost untouched. 1,000 damage value, and then 1.9 on the Norglan's Ironbreakers. Mwah, beautiful work by them today. Quarrel's got 700 damage value, 600, 395, and 778. 1,000 on the Bolt Thrower. As for Mr. Karadog here, the Fae Enchantress got 1.2k damage value, which is pretty solid stuff. Some nice dwellers below in the mid-game. 770 and 470 on the Paladins, and the Peasant Mobs just died, which was kind of their duty, unfortunately, here. The Bowmen, 460 value, 330, 100, 470, so again, not much. And the Cavalry, yeah, low hundreds. The outstanding unit really was just 745, which isn't great, coming in from a unit of Grail Knights. GG! Yup. Let's have a sip of our drink quickly. Ah, that's nice stuff. Yeah, the Bretonnians, if Bretonnians are going to go against Dowie, it can be pretty hard. At least the Dowie finally got a win. Yeah, I don't think this is the only Dowie player who's got this far. A lot of people were kind of saying, hey, Dwarfs are really OP in this format. I believe this is our 8th event. Give me 2 secs to change names on stream. So I believe this is our 8th event, and I think Dwarfs won once. I think Vampire Counts may have won twice, maybe? I know they've won once. Cool, let's just change the names before these guys load in. So let's change the name to Tank. There we go. Oh. Cool. Good to go. And we hop straight back in. Yeah, that was a tough matchup, Spookington King, 100%. What's up, Duros, man? You've missed some legendary games. It's been a really good fun stream so far, bud. It's been really good fun. I actually think Wood Elves have a chance here. I agree, Tank. Against this build, triple Waywatchers, for sure. They might be able to snipe Thoric. They don't have Orion, though. He's got the Dragon, but there's not that much to kill the Dragon if he can kill the Slayers with the Way Watchers. But there's a lot for the Way Watchers to do, for sure. I mean, the Ironbreakers, although breath attacks on the Ironbreakers, net a unit of Ironbreakers, breath attack down the flank, or Pendulums. Yeah, it's not over if the Dwarves come through this. At all. Drinking some apple juice, Ducky? I'm afraid I'm not. I'm drinking some water. Apple juice is OG, though. It is very good. For some factions in the tabletop format, you must choose to counter VC or Dowie. Yeah, someone did send me in a build, actually, like it's my counter VC build. Can't remember who it was. It wasn't Karadog, it wasn't one who made it here. I felt like sleeping in. No worries, man, no worries, I'm glad you've made it. So this is the second semi-final. And then we have the final after this. So dwarfs are OP. Oh. Maybe they're very good in tabletops. Vampire Counts are the best faction, in my opinion, in tabletop tournaments. Dwarfs are very good in them as well, maybe second. But if you're talking about in general multiplayer, dwarfs aren't OP. They're a lot better than they were, though. They are a lot better than they were. Thoric really has opened up so much for them. So the dwarf build, we've obviously just seen it. And we're on the same map, but that's fine. We'll very quickly go through it. It is just Longbeards and Dwarf Warriors in the front, double Slayers, a Bolt Thrower, 3 Nissa Quarrelers, 2 Nissa Ironbreakers, one of which is Regiment Renowned, 2 Nissa Slayers, one of which is Regiment Renowned, and Thoric Ironbrow. We've been a little while since we've seen Tank's force, so let's go through his. This is the one which managed to take down the other Dwarf force. So he's already taken one Dowie beard and attached it to his belt, and he's looking to add a second one. We have triple Centicles with Thrown Axes, triple Centicles, triple Razor Gores, and a bucket ton of Gore Herds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, the Gore Herds are going to have a worse time than they did in the last matchup. Not that many Slayers for them to hop on today, unfortunately. We do have a Brave Shaman as well with Traitorkin on a Chariot, I think, which is going to be very nice. But, of course, the centre of attention, the main man, Torox the Brass Bull. Look at him go. Yeah, soak it in, lads. Soak in the absolute carnage and brutality of Mr. Torox. And if you have a little look down here at the Brave Shaman, yeah, it's just Traitorkin. And I'm 99% sure they were on a Chariot. They are indeed, which tend to be the meta way to bring them, and they're very powerful. They're very powerful. But people aren't seeking for best builds. Yeah, no, in this format, you either go really balanced, or you go all in on one fin. We get a lot of meme builds in this type of tournament as well. A lot of them, unfortunately, lost in the first round. There were so many cool builds that I couldn't show you guys. Crablin's build was it was outstanding. Maybe if Crablin gets a good replay with that build, I'd happily cast it on the channel. So Grog Hoser Wolf's Run are going to be trying to waste ammunition, which is a real long game play here. They do, of course, have regeneration. To be honest, the Crawlers are unlikely to use up all their ammunition anyway over the course of the battle. So yeah, killing a few models here and there is absolutely fine. Only 2 models go down though, so it's nothing too crazy. And the Boltthrower, of course, can kill models as well. We can get a big flank overload coming from tank on this left-hand side. The Dwarfs kind of need to move back and rotate around a little bit to the left, I would think. But then let's open up, of course, the other side for the Goreherds. Boltthrower is aiming, it would seem, at the Brave Shaman of Wild. Unfortunately, missing its shots there. But if the Brave Shaman stays still for too long, eventually those Dwarf Engineers will get their eyes in and a keen line of sight. Should be able to bring down the Brave Shaman relatively effectively. And in comes some shots. Bam, bam. Unfortunately, it does kill the 2 Centaurs who are guarding the Brave Shaman right in front of them. And now the Brave Shaman is once again on the move. Grog Hoser Wolf's Run may have regeneration, but they do not have the ability to resurrect the dead. No beer, unfortunately, can do that, guys, I'm afraid to tell you. And, yeah, they've lost quite a few models now, which is bad news for them. Razor Gore Piggies can look to push in here. They're kind of standing right in front of the Dwarf Warriors, who are braced, shields raised, and there are Slayers nearby who can intercept and start to drag them down. Slayers on top of Razor Gores would be really nice right now. We do get blasting charges in the back, going after the Centicores with thrown axes, which is kind of good news for tank, because they won't be using the Gore Herds, but they're still going to be losing models, which can be quite problematic. Big Fat Traitorkin goes down. Slayers decide to countercharge the Centicores instead of going after the Razor Gores, hoping that the Dwarf Warriors will be able to tank and destroy them. And it looks like the front line, Goreherds aren't going to be able to engage without taking too many blasting charges. The Ironbreakers are in the back instead, maybe looking to unleash a deadly salvo. Rune of Doom goes down. Thoric Ironbrow drives back the Razor Gore herds from whence they came, protecting his Quarrelers at all costs. And now the Longbeards will be fighting against the Goreherds, who are trying to squeeze through this gap. A few have managed to pull through, But a lot of other gore herds, again, butchered by the Longbeards right now, due to the support of the crawlers, but also the runes going down. Razor Gores and Tanks leader here, Torque's Brass Bull, going to be hitting this flank. More Centaurs do force their way in. A lot of Phalanxes are going after the Ironbreakers, which won't do that much damage, but will be against some okay value, I suppose. Gore herds are eating a few blasting charges right now, and yeah, the Dwarf Warriors are absolutely fine up against the Gore herds. They just don't have enough AP, it would seem, and Thoric Ironbrow is going to be rolling back. Low more blasting charges hit the centre. Centaurs are in the mist right now, as well as the Razor Gores, looking to try to shut down that central pocket, and it has succeeded rather well. 2 crawlers are running for their life, another unit of crawler is starting to waver, and 1 is left shooting. There's a load of thrown axes left, so if the dwarfs do lose their range, perhaps there is some potential to dish out some damage in the mid to late stages of the game from those Centaurs. Longbeards are hit by the Master Rune of Speed. In fact, it catches a load of units right now. Dragonslayers are unfortunately engaged with Gore herds. We've seen Tank do this in multiple games now. He is very good at getting the right units onto the right targets, prioritising as much as possible. Now, unlike the previous Thoric Ironbrow, I believe this one, did he come with his armour? No, he did not, so he does not have the fire resistance. And Torque's Brass Bull does, of course, do fire attacks. It is just grinding and bumping against Thoric Ironbrow at the moment. A lot of the Gore herds are looking very tattered right now. Dwarf Warriors are doing a fantastic job against them. We still have decent amount of Centaurs on the periphery. The Razor Gores can be used to either come back to the fight or finish off these Quarrelers. Using the Skirmish Cav for that could be quite useful as well. We do get a lovely Traderkin going down. Unfortunately for the Brave Shaman, he does miscast there, of course, because of Thoric, and it was overcast anyway. And that Bolt Thrower is still alive. So though the majority of the Quarrelers were shut down, the Bolt Thrower lives, and it can just constantly apply pressure to the Brave Shaman, and eventually it's going to hit. And there you see a big blow coming down to 500 HP. It may start to get forced off the battlefield. Thoric Ironbrow is tanky, but he will need support up against Torque's Brass Bull, who's got Brass Bully popped, but likewise the Master Rune of Slowness. There's a load of Dragonback Slayers helping to slow him down. His speed is down to 26, which honestly isn't as terrible as I thought it was going to be, and he is being driven back right now. Looks like these guys, oh please survive, keep going Grumbundle's computer, I believe in you. Okay, looks like it is sorting itself out, which is good, and we should be back up and running. We do have Gore herds looking to move in. Well played by Brindle. He's just going to pull back his main Slayers there and charge him with the Longbeards instead. But good play by Tank as well, who will turn to engage Thoric, who's now having to fall back and retreat relatively hard. Brave Shaman unfortunately has been broken, which means it can no longer juke shots, down to 500 HP. Another bolt does come in and connect, bring it down to 370, but it shall soon be out of range of the bolt thrower. Rune of Doom has gone down. Bolstering and pulsing through the veins of the dwarfs is the fury of their ancestors. Thoric does go toe-to-toe with Torque's the Brass Bull and sends him packing with the support now of some Slayers. Centaurs of Thrown Axes starting to dwindle a little bit on ammunition, although there's not many Quarrels to counter-skirmish them left. We do have 23 down here. I think they have a date with some Centaurs though, and that's not going to be a date they're going to enjoy whatsoever. We do have more Gore herds pushing through the gap. Longbeards trying to intercept them. The Bolt Thrower is going to have to retreat soon. Looks like Slayers are even going to move into hand-to-hand combat, just looking to protect the Bolt Thrower as much as possible, which honestly may well be worthwhile at the moment because the Bolt Thrower can really keep that Shaman at bay. Shaman has come back to the battlefield, but only 370 HP. Centaurs of Thrown Axes continue to launch shots in onto the Ironbreakers, looking to try to break them and bring them down. Do we still have the Regiment of Renown units? We do. 55 models. That is quite a tasty amount. Torque's Brass Bull, though, may be able to carry in the later stages of the game, but he is getting shot in the face by this Bolt Thrower, which has done some really good work so far. Dwarfs are pushing out in all angles. Longbeards are driving away the Grog Hooves of Wolf's Run, but now they're going to get isolated by the Razor Gore herds. We do have some Quarrels returning to the battlefield. They're just firing some shots in, trying to clean up some weakened units. Torque starts managing to jump on top of these Longbeards, isolating them, and from what we've seen in the previous Dwarf game, Tank is a master at isolating and picking apart the right targets at the right time, and he's doing a really good job here once again, as the Dwarfs are kind of bouncing back and forth, running all over the battlefield. Now, the Bolt Thrower is attempting to be shut down by the Centaurs. We do have Dwarf Warriors and Slayers in here, as well as Thoric. Centaurs still somehow standing, despite the fact they've only got like 6 models. They're like, nah, we're good, we got this. And then they instantly shatter. Bolt Thrower really needs to hit this Brave Shaman. Just one more shot will probably be enough to shatter it. But another Traderkin coming down right now would be really, really hard. It looks like Traderkin is indeed going to hit the entire Dwarf force. No! Oh no! It went down! What? The caster died. I don't know if it's from the miscast or the Bolt Thrower killing it, but the Traderkin went off anyway. I guess the spell had actually just popped in his like last dying breath. He's like, oh, screw you, dwarves, and he pops it anyway. So a lovely little cast there, and that is some decent damage. Bolt Thrower is still fine. Targeting Torques wouldn't be a bad idea right now. Longbeards are kind of getting punted. The Centaurs of Phoenixes are surrounding them and dragging them down. Quarrelers are continuing to shoot in, aiming at the Centaurs right now, but these ones, of course, do have regeneration. Dwarfs are looking very beat up, guys. Very beat up. Is there anything left to kill Taurox? Maybe the 31 Dragonslayers, but are they going to be allowed to get on top of that target? There's still Gore Herds left around. It's a tough game. This is a very, very close game right now. It could go either way. Boltthrower is going to continue to lay on it thick with that damage. Probably is going to be continuously shooting. I'm not going after the Centaurs here, but when Taurox is in range, he's going to be the big problem here. Maybe Taurox the Brass Bull can bring this back. Maybe he can. It's going to be quite close. So the Gore Herds are just getting clobbered right now by the Dwarf Warriors. Slayers countercharge the Piggies. Piggies fall back, but likewise Brindle pulls back, because otherwise the Gore Herds will turn and engage. And it looks like the Gore Herds, unfortunately, are fighting Dwarf Warriors, which is the one target they don't want to face. Now, 47 Ironbreakers is really quite mean. Razor Gore Herds do charge in onto the Bolt Throwers. We get shattered on contact from the Dragonback Slayers. That Bolt Thrower is all eyes on Taurox right now. He is tanking shot after shot, but he will certainly go down if he keeps eating them. Dwarf Warriors are being hounded and harassed now by the Piggies, who have lost quite a lot of HP. Still have 11 models, though. Frog Ironbrow's doing a good job. Slayers are looking a little bit worse for wear right now. They get on top of all the right targets, but Taurox is being kept out of the fight here by a Master Rune of Slowness. We also have a Rune of Doom going down. The Ironbreakers are just kind of vibing on the right. They need to help out their homies where possible, because they're such a solid unit. And all the Beastmen forces starting to break here, and the Dwarfs are pulling ahead on the balance of power. Can Taurox the Brass Bull make it in time? That's a really lovely Rune of Slowness to keep him out of the fight as long as possible. He is aiming directly at Thoric. He gets a huge hit there. Thoric down to 2.5k HP. And Thoric may fight alone here. We have the Ironbreakers and some Slayers. The Ironbreakers need to kill all these Gore Herds and allow the Slayers the time to help protect Thoric. It is a very close fight in the middle here. If we had a Master of Negation, that'd be lovely on Thoric. It looks like we still have... No, the debuff is gone off Taurox the Brass Bull, who is down to 1,900 HP. Thoric Ironbarrow down to 1.6. We do have Dragonback Slayers fighting here. The Ironbreakers are moving in. Norgren and Ironbreakers finish off the Gore Herds, and then they turn around as quickly as possible. Brass Body, though, goes down on Taurox. Thoric Ironbarrow has managed to remain strong as more Ironbreakers do move in here. It looks like we are getting a buff. It is something. No, it's Brass Body. Oh, it's Brass Body. It looked like it was on top of Thoric, but I think that was because Taurox was kind of overshadowing him by leaning on top of him. Thoric is very close to breaking, but so are the Beastmen forces. Grog Hooves of Wolf's Run are starting to leg it, and we are about to get a Master Rune of Speed going down. So Thoric Ironbarrow is very low HP-wise. Taurox Brass Bull likewise is, and this is going to buff up the Ironbreakers to give them really decent melee attack and actually connect and do some decent damage. Thoric does go down here. He does go down. That is a massive win there for Taurox, but likewise both the Centaurs are starting to break. One unit, this unit may even shatter. I mean, it's only got, what, 5 models left? But Thoric dies, and the leadership of the Dwarves could be in question right now, as Dragonback Slayers are unbreakable, but there's not many of them left. Norgrimlin's Ironbreakers have 45 models, it's all on them, but they no longer have the Master Rune of Speed to buff their melee attack, and Taurox Brass Bull is relatively tanky. Ironbreakers look to be breaking here. It is 6 Dragonback Slayers and the Ironbreakers. Will they hold? That is the key question here. The rest of the Beastmen force is running. There's a chance they could rally. Unfortunately, the Dwarfs only have a Bolt Throw which could come back, and it looks like that first unit of Ironbreakers has indeed started to run for its life. Of course, we have the fear coming in from Taurox Brass Bull, lowering these guys' leadership even more, but there's still 36 Norgrin Ironbreakers, and they love fighting to the death. Dragonback Slayers are going to have to let the Brass Bull go here. I don't think he has anything to do that with, I'm afraid. We'll have to see how that fares there, but there's no Beastmen forces left on the battlefield. I don't think it's going to matter, though. Taurox Brass Bull is going to be getting dragged down here. Down to 650 HP. And Dragonback Slayers, 2 models left. The Ironbreakers, 35. They are a little bit wavering right now. We have more Ironbreakers coming back in. Taurox Brass Bull down to 560 HP. Surely there's no way he carries this. He's starting to waver. And if he goes down, it is definitely game over. Bance power bounces all of a sudden massively in the Dowie favour. What a game. What a game. That was crazy. That was amazing. Well played to Thorgrim. He had to scrap that one back. Well played to Tank as well. Tank did a really solid job. Again, and it was a tough, his build against the Dwarf's build was pretty damn tough, and he did it once in the earlier stages up against a different Dwarf player, and he did it again against Chad Forgan, but this time fell very slightly kind of short there. There was a little bit of rule break at the end as well. Like, I'd have to look at the replay to make sure there's no other units coming back, which then shattered, but yeah, Torx cannot run away like that, but it's fine. It kind of ended well, but I'll double check afterwards, and I can message about it if it ends up being a problem. But the Dwarfs were victorious there. 860 damage value on Thoric Ironbrow. The Dwarf Warriors did a decent job just holding the line. 360, 640 damage value, 820, 596 on the Longbeards. As for the Slayers, 1.3k damage value and 1.2 is really nice work. Brindle will use those guys really well, just to pull back, push at the right times in the right places. Ironbreakers 1.4 and 1.3 damage value. Quarrelers 280, 740, 640 and 200 damage value. 1.3 on the Bolt Thrower. That Bolt Thrower was absolutely Chad. That Bolt Thrower was so Chad. It did so much work. Likewise, though, Tank's characters, nearly 3,000 damage value on Torx the Brass Bull. Nearly 3,000 damage value. Such nice work. 76 kills. The Brace on the Wild, 1.5k damage value, man. That spell is so powerful. Tracekin, it's very, very good. Goreherds, unfortunately, weren't able to hop into the Slayers like they did in the previous game. 800 damage value was the highest they managed to get. Centaurs, didn't do too much. Phonaxes, 1,000 value, 660 and 579. The Resicles did okay. 460 damage value, 380 and 494. GG's well played. GG well played. It's a Slayer of Lords, yes. OP Lord, lol, nerf Torx? Torx is very powerful. But likewise is Thoric. Likewise is Thoric. They're both very good. So up next, let's close this out on a pretty cool map. Considering we have Dwarfs, let's do one of the crack maps. They can be fine home turf, because doing one of the Wood Elf maps might not be the best. And then we get Charax in here as well. Let's go. I think all the crack maps are pretty good. Oh. Let's go Karak Asgul as the map. So guys, it's Waywatchers versus Dwarfs. Waywatchers versus Dwarfs for the final showdown. Let's get Charax back in here. Which I believe is how I spell your name. I apologize if I've absolutely butchered there. I can change it when you get into the lobby. Let's make your name a bit bigger to match the Chad there. And this is the finals, guys. This is the finals. Wood Elves versus Dwarfs. It's going to be good fun. It's going to be good fun. Yeah, we'd have to take a look back because he might have had units rallying that were off screen and coming back in. But, we couldn't really look. But it was fine. It didn't matter in the end, to be honest. Bam, 100 watching. Oh my god, we had 100 watching? Are you charging Centaurs? Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. We didn't see the whole thing. No worries, Tank. Yeah, I was wondering if... I assumed you had units coming back, and that's why you pulled out Torx, and then they broke and ran away. So I couldn't see the whole map. We were kind of zoomed in on the one point. So that's absolutely fine, man. If you had the units coming back in. The ROR ones? Sweet. We couldn't see the whole map is the thing. We were, looking at the main fight. Well played, Tank, by the way. You played very good in both your games we saw you play today. In the quarters and the semis there. And that was so close. Torx nearly got 3,000 damage value. He was really putting a hurt down on Thoric. Although Thoric just holds so long. That's the good thing about Thoric. He's very tanky and he can buff himself to be kind of a warrior god. At one point there was. That's amazing. They had rallied, yeah. Well, awesome. Hope you guys are enjoying so far. Oh, I completely forgot we had the poll. 2 secs. Just gonna make a poll. Awesome. So let's make a new poll on who you guys think is gonna win this one. And the poll, the first one. What do you study in school? I finished school, man. I finished uni. I'm a lot older than I look. Who will win? I studied ACT up till BA Honours, and then I have a master's degree in creative writing. Which The acting degree was probably more useful. The creative writing degree. Cool. Hopefully that should be up. But the writing degree, the main thing it did for me, it didn't teach me too much, honestly. But I mean, it taught me a little bit, but it just made me write consistently week in, week out, which was the main thing. Double oof. So, Dwarfs versus Wood Elves. Who's your money on, guys? I can change the runes? No. No changing to anything. No chevron or like nothing at all. Okay, yeah, you got to keep it as. No worries. Good to go when you lads are. Man, it's been such a fun stream so far. Oh god, echo. Oh no, is there an echo? No, is there an echo? Echo, echo. Hopefully it's fine. Fingers crossed. I don't know if I've done anything to my mic unless I've bashed it, but it seems fine. I'm going to look to get a new mic for Christmas, which is going to be pretty cool. Pretty cool stuff. So we have just seen this dwarf build 3 times in a row, actually. We've seen it all the whole time. So, but we'll go over it again very quickly. Double Slayer, Bolt Throw, which was MVP last game. Chad, Forik, Ironbrow, of course. 2 Ironbreakers, 1 of which is Regiment Renowned. A couple of Dwarf Warriors, 2 Slayers, 1 of which is Regiment Renowned. And 4 Quarrelers. I thought it was 3 for some reason, but there's 4. For the forces here of the Wood Elves, we do have a triple Way Watchers. And it's definitely not unwinnable for the Wood Elves. It's definitely not easy, though. But the triple Way Watchers, maybe. Maybe if they can kill enough right targets with the breath attack helps from the Glade Lady, there's a chance. But yeah, Glade Lady up in the sky, of course, with Prayer of Enough Raymer. Triple Way Watchers. We do have Wild Riders. A couple of Wild Riders, in fact. A load of Eternal Guard. We have more Glade Riders in the distance. And then we have a Branch Wraith coming in with Pendulum and Earthblood, which is going to be pretty key here. Pendulum can do some decent damage. I just don't think there's enough to kill Forik, plus the Ironbreakers, plus the Slayers. I mean, Slayers are probably the actual smallest priority target, because Eternal Guard can kill them. So, either snipe Forik, snipe the Bolt Throwers. Oh man, there's so much to do. There's so much for the Will of player to do here. Did the Dowry have 950 gold left? I don't think so. If he did, that's low-key kind of funny. I hear no echo. Okay, thank God. Thank God. I had 2 streams up. Okay, no, double the support. See, Rusty's an OG, man. Rusty knows what to do. He's double streaming me. Yeah, no, if he had some Centaurs rallying back, he's allowed to pull back if they're charging in. But again, like, it doesn't really matter. It didn't really affect the battle. We could have just looked at it if we needed to. But the Dwarves are going to be taking a defensive approach, which is it the right move? I mean, probably still. Bolt Thrower takes a little bit of damage, but not too much. But it does basically guarantee his Bolt Thrower is dead, and it is also going to guarantee the Way Watchers get their max value from using up all their ammunition, because there's simply nothing to counter these guys, really. We do have the Quarrelers, who can counter a little bit, but if he gets aggressive and pushes the Way Watchers, he might make his opponent make some mistakes, but likewise, he might get picked apart as well. So Way Watchers are going to start unleashing some shots. They're actually going after the Quarrelers. Probably a decent target, as they are one of their main counters. And they can also hit the dragon in the sky. And if you can take out the aerial threat that the dwarves possess here for the Glade Lady, we can get some really nice breath attacks, which could basically delete the Iron Breakers, which would be quite good. She's trying to juke back and forth. Unfortunately, she's on a dragon today, not her eagle. Dragon is a way cooler mount, by the way, just putting that out there. But it does mean she's a lot weaker at magic to dodge. She does come in with Prayer of Enough Raymer. It looks like she's really trying to get rid of the Quarrelers, and maybe going to do a breath attack down on them. Taking a load of damage in return, though, and is that breath attack actually going to go down in time? The Dwarves are somehow pulling through their net, trying to get out of position, and they did slightly, but the Quarrelers, yeah, took a load of damage. We do get a overcast by Forik Ironbrow, getting Mastering of Slowness on the Glade Lady now. She's simply going to heal up, but, you know, you're going to have to go to a healing cap probably at some point, and the Way Watchers are continuing to shoot down, aiming at those Quarrelers where possible. Longbeards just push them back for a little bit, and then they're going to fall back and come back in once more, no doubt. Bolt throws in some nice damage once again. Glade Lady has really taken quite a pounding right now, down to 6,200 HP. We will most likely see some Earth Bloods, but it's still resources that you're expending. And another Arrows of Curse is going to swoop down. This time it is aimed at Thoric Ironbrow. Does some decent damage. Decent damage. Nothing too crazy. Nothing too crazy. He needs to breath attack the Ironbreakers. Yeah, that's what I think. I think he should breath attack the Ironbreakers rather than the Crawlers, but it's getting rid of the Crawlers in the first place could be very problematic. The Glade Riders are moving up around the flanks, looking to swoop in. Weight Watchers once again can find the perfect position before revealing themselves, and the Eternal Guard is simply going to wait in the back of the winds. Now, taking so much damage on the Glade Lady is pretty rough, but a lot of ammunition has been expended now by the Crawlers. They still actually have a ton left, and the Bolt Thrower is absolutely fine. I mean, has it managed to connect at all? Let's have a little look. The Bolt Thrower, yep, 240 damage value, not much, but it's certainly something. And the Glade Lady, taking so much damage now, down to about half HP. Of course, Earthbloods will help that to a point. Crawlers are trying to counter-shoot into the Weight Watchers right now, who are up to 19 kills. Any models you can kill the Weight Watchers will be good news for the Dwarves, but it looks like that first volley didn't really connect with anything. More Weight Watchers are shooting in, and they're going down the flank of the Crawlers. Not a bad idea whatsoever, because if the Crawlers are facing you, of course, they have those bronze shields, and also just going all the way arcing down the rank of the Dwarf Warriors. You'd hope they would hit more units there. Bolt Thrower is going to continue to shoot. The Glade Lady is trying her best Duke and Impression. She herself is up to 648 damage value, but she's taking so much damage right now, down to half HP. Glade Riders are trying to swoop in. They're actually baiting out some blasting charges, though. They do actually manage to connect. Blasting charges should definitely be saved for those Eternal Guard, because they'll be able to delete them very quickly. Some Dwarf Warriors have got very out of position. They could get isolated, but at the end of the day, it's only Glade Riders over here. There's some nearby support, as well as the Dragonslayers, so rather wise withdraw him from Charax. His bows are now shooting into the Dragonbacks to, of course, have that spread out formation. But they still take some damage there. Only lose 2 models, though, as another volley does arc in. The Dragonslayers actually come with a bronze shield, which is pretty hilarious. And it's because their 2 axes whirl around their bodies so quickly, it cuts some of the arrows to pieces. Glade Lady does get an Earthblood, an Overcast one, in fact. But she is not looking too strong right now. She's looking pretty worse for wear. I think Brindle's done a decent job so far of managing the Weight Watchers and the Dragon. More shots are going to rain down on the Quarrelers now, who just about hold on for dear life. And the Quarrelers are all looking pretty beat up. But the Weight Watchers have exhausted about half ammunition on all 3 of these units, which is going to be a bit of a problem. Glade Riders move up around behind, looking to try to find some gaps. I mean, if they can charge onto the Crawlers, they might be able to break them. Nice little volley there into the flank of the Dragonslayers, doing some decent damage. The Glade Lady does now get healed up once again by another Earthblood. So that's 2 Earthbloods going down, and the Branch Wraith has, of course, miscast these, and now she's been shot by the Bolt Thrower, down to about half HP herself, which isn't good news whatsoever. Glade Lady is shooting some shots in, managing to kill some Dwarf Warriors with every single volley. Dwarfs getting real aggressive over on this flank, although the Dragonslayers is taking quite a pounding now. Bolt Thrower is continuing to sing. Still got all 3 of its models active. A little bit of lag is going to connect as that Glade Lady swoops away from the bolt, doing some lovely dodging. Daenerys' Dragons could certainly learn something from Charax here. Up to 62 kills on the Glade Lady. 2 Arrows has been used up. Only 1 breath attack, though. And it looks like, finally, the Glade Riders have actually managed to find the pocket. Can they break these Crawlers quick enough? Or are the Dragonslayers going to be able to hop on top of them and break them down? Let's see. I mean, the Crawlers are holding relatively firm right now, although it looks like the Glade Riders may be able to escape through this big opening and make it out once more. Nice little hit and run tactic there. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough to break these units. Weight Watchers do shoot in, this time aiming at the Bolt Throw, which I think if it was done at the start of the battle would have been worth it, but now in the later stages, it's used up a majority of its ammunition, so it's not the biggest high-threat priority target. Wild Riders do slam into long bids and fall back, basically taking no damage in return, which is good work for them. Weight Watchers have actually taken a bit of a pounding and lost some models to the pressure of the Dwarvish Crawlers. Dragonslayers moving out onto the right just to say, hey, we know you're here, Glade Riders, back up. And they do indeed back up. Balance power is slightly in favour of the Wood Elves right now, as a lot of the ammunition has been exhausted from the Dwarves. I mean, likewise has from the Wood Elves, so not too sure why it's so a little bit in their favour. It seems relatively even so far. A lot of shots do get completely missed here onto the Glade Lady, who's getting near her healing cap, and a Dragon at the end of the day could kill a lot of these warriors if they get rid of the Slayers, and for a Gunbrab, though, is very tanky. Load of shots come into the Slayers and some big damage there once more. Still decent amounts of ammunition left. 13 volleys, 12 volleys. And this unit in the centre, 11 volleys, so they have lost some models, unfortunately, in that regard. And the Glade Lady, once again, is going to swoop forward as the Wood Elves start to re-engage. They're just floating around for now, just trying to avoid the shots, and it looks like, yeah, going to be able to, well, no, take a little bit of damage from that volley, actually, as she does start to wait still. It looks like Weight Watchers have been discovered once more as they move around to the flank, trying to get into the perfect position. Glade Throwers have plenty of room to move up and around behind the enemy, but the Bolt Thrower is nearly out of ammo at this point. Again, another volley used from the Bolt Thrower. I'm really surprised. It has, like, no ammunition left. 3 volleys. You might as well just tank them, I think, and try to juke, and the rest of the shots on the Slayers, which are, in fact, going down, trying to whittle these guys down. The Quarrel's doing some nice damage. Aiming at the branch at the moment, trying to get that healing off the field, though the Glade Lord is relatively close to their healing cap. Weight Watchers focusing down the Quarrelers once more. If we get left with just infantry, there's a chance the Cavalry and the Dragon, plus the Eternal Guard. If the Eternal Guard kill the Slayers, Dragon and the Cavalry might be able to cycle charge everything else to death, but that is quite a big ask. Some blasting charges do get launched on to the Glade Riders, and they don't really appreciate that. In fact, a couple of their horses actually burst into bolts of flame, and the Slayers are able to catch, no, not quite catch the Glade Riders. Good micro there by Charax, able to pull back its forces. Though the Weight Watcher shots do go down on the Quarrelers, doing some okay damage, but once again, Bronze Shield, 80 armor. It's going to absorb some of the damage. And the Weight Watchers, 32 kills, 26 kills. I don't think their damage value is going to be that high. No, none of it's above 1,000 yet, all in the 700 mark. And now the Quarrelers once again are going to shoot in to the Glade Lady. Can I have a quick sip of my drink? Nom nom nom. There we go. This battle is going on for quite some time. Quack quack. What's up, Black Fawn? What's up, Eldrin of the Mist? You guys made it just in time for the final, unfortunately. It's been a very good stream, though. I definitely recommend going back and checking out some of the games. A little bit of lag has kicked in. Now and again. It's happened a few times with both these guys in the lobbies, but it seems to clear up like quickly and go straight back to normal, which is really good news. The Glade Lady is just eating shots. Eating shots all day right now. And she does fly away. 2,500 HP and very little room for healing. Now the Wild Riders are becoming activated and could do some good cycle charging on the Dwarf Warriors. The Bolt Thrower is out. There is no ammunition left on that Bolt Thrower. Quarrelers are going to continue to shoot in and try to buy more and more time to absorb these Weight Watcher shots. I think Charax has done a decent job. I mean, it's really tough. It's easy for us to sit back and say, you should target this, you should target this. When you're on the battlefield, it's very different, and he's managed to target down a lot of the Slayers. I think the main mishap has been targeting down that Bolt Thrower. Targeting down the Quarrelers is a fine pick, as it should hopefully help in the later stages of the game, but we have to wait and see if that does pay off. Now, Dwarf Warriors are getting crumped by Wild Riders. Good news for the Wood Elves is they have massive, massive advantage when it comes to mobility, but, oh! That was so good. An overcast Rune of Wrath and Ruin on the Wild Riders. He does lose this unit of Dwarf Warriors who are terrified. Wild Riders can chase him off the battlefield, but actually fall back towards friendly territory. But that Rune of Wrath and Ruin, oh, that did some really nice damage there to those Wild Riders. Bolt Thrower does get finished off here. Gets chased down and slaughtered, and some of the Dwarf units starting to be picked apart. Balance power still in the favour here of the Elves. Quarrelers taking quite a lot of damage now. They're very close to breaking. You would think the leadership's fine. Fine. I mean, they're taking a little bit of damage when it starts to break. Cavalry needs to manage to finish this guy's off and then use the remainder of the ammunition on the Slayers, although the Eternal Guard could help with that as well. We still have 2 breath attacks as well, remember. Let's have another little sip there. Oh. So my voice has been a little bit dead over the last week or so. So, Wild Riders continue to rain down shots aimed at the Slayers for now. Wild Riders do take a little bit of damage, and the Glade Lady's taken so much punishment, but she has absorbed the majority of the ammunition from the Dwarvish people. More shots rain in. It looks like one unit of Quarrelers has finally been dealt with and finished off. The second one is going to be a target priority now. Oh, jeez. Why would they rush a defensive formation if you have the range advantage? Oh, yeah. Yeah. You don't want to rush into this. You don't want to, rush into this. You need to pick them apart. Rushing in with the cavalry can be good to, finish off the Quarrelers. Neither of these guys really wanted to rush in. You had to use the ammunition on the Weight Watchers, realistically, to have any hope of winning this and get as much value as possible. You can see some arrows slow-mo lancing their way, allowing a bloom style into the enemy, and they are going to be clattering down into the Quarrelers once more. Weight Watchers have 7 volleys left. Brindle, of course, as a Dowie main, has dealt with this situation multiple times where you have to kind of sit back and try to get the least amount of damage done to you possible. So he's very good at absorbing damage like this. Now, the Quarrelers are going to get run down by Wild Riders if they run too far away from the main battlefield. More Wild Riders can return. Weight Watchers still have ammunition. I mean, still 8 volleys, 6 volleys, and no volleys on this front unit here. Dwarfs are taking quite a pounding at the moment. And bounce power does reflect that, although the Glade Lady being this low is quite problematic because she hits very hard and could do some nice cycle charging in the late game. Now that the Crawlers are very beat up, I mean, this unit's completely out of ammunition. We still have this one Crawler left fighting. As soon as that's down, the Dragon should just fly overhead, net Ironbreakers, breath attack them. Because the breath attacks could be really good. Just one breath remaining. Oh, did he use 2 up? Okay. I thought he only used 1 for some reason on the Crawlers. I might have missed the second one. Or the battle's been going on for a long time, guys. It's been like 12 minutes, and there's not even been a frontal engagement yet, so I may just have forgotten that one. Weight Watchers, 5 volleys left. Can they break this last unit of Quarrelers? Because it is going to be pretty good, useful to get them off the battlefield. They have been revealed. Volley comes in, and with Elvish accuracy, they do pierce a lot of the Dwarfs. You can see many of them slumped over dead on the ground, and they're going to start to waver, but not quite break it. We are going to be getting a Rune of Slowness going down on this unit of Weight Watchers, which is one of the only ones with ammunition left. Their speed is currently 16, and looks like the Ironbreakers are going to be going for it. 26 speed. I don't know if it was popped a little bit too early. Weight Watchers may be able to escape here. And the Glade Lady does a big breath attack down on the Ironbreakers, it would seem. Get them down to about half HP. That was a good breath attack, up to 97 kills. And does fall back to help protect these Weight Watchers. And just, discourage the Ironbreakers from coming back and coming after this fight. Wild Riders do slam into the Dwarf Warriors, doing some nice damage, but the Slayers are still alive. This last unit of Quarrelers just holding firm. Reload fire, bring them down, bring them down. That is their main bet here. Glade Lady does do magic attacks, which will not help her out against Thoric in the later stages of the game. Last little bit of ammunition is being used up now. It's going in the flank of the Ironbreakers, doing some lovely damage. Yeah, ignoring this Quarreler is probably for the best. They got 4 volleys left. The Glade Lady is relatively close to a healing cap, but it might be worth popping one last Earthblood down just to make her as nice and healthy as possible. And then he needs to try to find a way to crack this shell open and get those Eternal Guard on these Slayers. That is going to be very, very key if he wants to succeed here today. Weight Watchers going to continue to shoot in, and they're going after the Norgolin Ironbreakers. They're not a bad target whatsoever. They still have all their blasting charges, which is quite problematic. Glade Lady is getting very, very, very low still, and she's out of ammunition. Wild Riders are vibing in the winds. Now, we do have more Weight Watchers pushing up, looking to fire some shots. They have 6 volleys left, and I think, is that it for the ammunition? 6 volleys on them, and we have 1 volley on this unit of Weight Watchers, doing some nice damage to the Slayers. They are down to 32 models, Dragonback Slayers 45. They could certainly be overwhelmed here. There's a second net and breath on the Quarrelers. Awesome, awesome. So we have no breaths left now, I guess. So the Glade Lady, 97 kills. She's not done a bad job. How much damage value has she actually managed to attain so far? Just shy of 2,000. She's done pretty good. Dwarfs are forming another ring. A dwarvish shield wall to try to protect themselves. Quarrelers, of course, going to be continuing to try to fire where possible. We also have Dwarf Warriors pushing out, attacking the Weight Watchers. And they're simply going to get jumped by the Wild Riders. Charax is going to play a very patient game here. Look to finish off units where he can. And we do get a Master Rune of Wrath go down again, but this time it is almost completely dodged. I don't think the Wild Riders actually took any damage from that. Nice little dodge, because that spell can do some massive damage, as we saw earlier on. Cavalry's going to continue to cycle charge just on this flank here as Quarrelers unleash a few more shots into them. We do have a little bit of ammunition left. 1 volley on that unit, and the other unit as well has a little bit. Unfortunately for the Glade Guard, the Dwarfs, of course, will be braced, and the Norgolin Ironbreakers have really good mass, so they don't take too much damage there. Slayers counter-charge, and a few Glade Riders get dragged down, though not many. Quarrelers going to be shooting into their rear, and the Glade Riders actually break from that and start to run away off the battlefield. Weight Watchers seem to be moving into combat, which is a bold strategy con. We'll have to see how it pays off, and they decide, you know what, it's probably not for the best, and we're going to run away again. Weight Watchers are moving into position, trying to snipe down the opponent. I wonder what the remaining ammo is going to be used on. 5 volleys. This is a really close game. This is really close. Eternal Guard are starting to advance up as well the battlefield to surround. The Ironbreakers are a problem, but they've been whittled down a little bit. Load of shots go in the flank of the Longbeards, and just 4 volleys are left. Well, 5 overall, I suppose, if we're including this second unit of Weight Watchers. Dragon's vibing, it's floating, it wants to be used on the infantry, not really Thoric, because Thoric will be able to tank a lot, and of course the Slayers are rather nasty. Glade Riders whipping up and around the flanks, we have Weight Watchers moving into combat, and the Eternal Guard look to be actually taking at the main fight, which is a little bit rough. I mean, the Eternal Guard are not going to win this fight. The Glade Lady needs to come over and assist them. That is the only way they have a chance of actually winning these frontline engagements here. I hear the Master Rune of Wrath going down. Or Rune of Doom, sorry. And it's going to mean that the Longbeards will cleave through the Eternal Guard very nicely. Glade Riders are charging in, looking to overwhelm the enemy and shut down those last Quarrelers. Wild Riders are committing to the main fight as well. Glade Lady, she gets an Earthblood popped on her, but is down to 1,400 HP as Thoric Ironbrow leads the charge as the Longbeards rally, lads! Stand with me and I will make you eternally glorious. Beating back the Eternal Guard right now, who are holding the line relatively well. The Way Watchers absorbing the majority of that damage. Eternal Guard take a little bit of damage from the Ironbreakers there. The Ironbreakers going to be very tough in the later stage to take down. Wild Riders do get hit with a Master Rune of Slowness, which is really problematic actually, because speed is very important in the amount of damage you can do on that shock charge. They may better break the Dwarf Warriors. They're trying to pull back and away from the Dragonslayers, falling back behind the Eternal Guard. Masterful play there by Charax as a volley goes into Thoric Ironbrow, trying to drag down the Dwarvish Legendary Lord. Ironbreakers are eating a few hits now from the Glade Lady, up to 100 kills. Way Watchers are being forced to move into hand-to-hand combat, which isn't ideally where they want to be. Chucking them against Slayers would be a really good use of their time, actually, and these cores. And looks like they are going to hit the Slayers. This is really good for the Way Watchers. They have okay melee stats, and Dwarf Slayers die to basically anything, because they have no armor or anything. But, they're easily butchered, the Way Watchers. But hey, if you kill more Slayers, that's good news for you. Wild Riders are bouncing around the battlefield, looking to assist the Eternal Guard. Longbeards are holding that shield wall firm. If the Wild Riders can get up and around and slam into the back of this unit of Longbeards, that'd be really good. Looks like they might go first on the Ironbreakers and then bounce over. That's what I would love to see. Big Pendulum goes down the line, does some decent damage to the Dragonslayers and Slayers, and once again the Glade Lady actually gets some really nice hits on Thoric Ironbrow and is desperately trying to fall back up into the skies. Slayers closing in. Now the Eternal Guard are being beaten back. We still have a couple of volleys left on these Way Watchers, 3 volleys. Trying to snipe Thoric won't be the worst idea, and in those shots go massive hits coming in. 67 Ironbreakers is a tough cookie to crumble. Noggling Ironbreakers not looking so hot. They get charged from both sides by the cavalry, which is now going to rear attack the Longbeards in the front, which should ensure that the Eternal Guard are victorious in this fight. Let's look at these poor little dwarves getting completely surrounded and most likely broken. Wild Riders have some really cool animations where they're like bound across the battlefield. Are the Wood Elves going to be able to pull this off, guys? Are the Wood Elves going to be able to do this? This is insane. This is such a close game. Wild Riders do manage to rout the Longbeards down here. The Dragon does now land on top of this isolated unit. Eternal Guard are still relatively strong and healthy, and they have that bonus versus large, which will help them take down Thoric, although he is very heavily armored. Can the Dwarves kill the Glade Lady? She's causing them all kinds of problems right now. Balance power is basically dead even. We are going in deep this game. So 0 ammo on this unit, Way Watchers. The other has 2 volleys, which should probably be saved for Thoric Ironbrow, because the Slayers are very low at the moment model count wise, and the Eternal Guard and even cavalry charging them can do some good work. The 67 Ironbreakers is a big problem, so shooting them with the Way Watchers again wouldn't be too terrible. We do get another Earthblood go down, catching a lot of the cavalry, but again it's going to be a miscast because of Thoric's innate ability, and the Branch Wave is very low right now. More Pendulums could be needed here against the Ironbreakers. It might be the only way to drag them down, because they're currently butchering Eternal Guard after Eternal Guard. Cavalry's going to lance in, trying to take down the Northern Ironbreakers, and they will do some okay damage, I'm sure. Slayers get hit. Way Watchers move into combat. We do have to get the runes, we cannot forget them, and it's a Master Rune of Speed, or a basic Rune of Speed here. So all these units should be able to carve down the enemy. Balance power, I think, is slightly in favour of the Wood Elves right now, as the Glade Lady hops on top of the Dwarf Warriors, terrifies them. These beat up Eternal Guard can be used to shatter them, and no way is this happening. No way! No one gave the Wood Elves any chance in this final, and they're doing really good right now as more Way Watcher shots go down onto Thoric, doing some nice work. Glade Lady is going to have to cycle charge like her life depends on it. Up to 116 kills. We do have more Longbeards rallying, and 57 Ironbreakers is no joke, particularly with Dragonslayers support, although the Dragonslayers is looking very low. A big break is happening in the middle though. The Wood Elves losing heart and hope as Wild Riders are drawing back. Eternal Guard, Branch Wave, everything is legging it. And that is really bad news if their infantry force does crumble. And the Dragon can't kill Thoric quick enough. This is causing big problems for the forces of the Wood Elves. They're trying to rally and bring back troops. You have Wild Riders charging back to the battlefield. Way Watchers as well, although they do unfortunately break here. Way Watchers are kiting back at the moment as the Dwarves continue to push. Wild Riders are bounding over back towards the battlefield, and a big rally needs to come down. Such a close scrap. Thoric has been able to tank, and that has been a big problem. We need this last volley to go into his rear, and then a big Glade Lady charge, some lucky RNG to break him, and the Terror would probably set in there and break the majority of these forces, though I believe Longbeards do actually have immune psychology, maybe? What's giving these guys immune psychology? Is it because they have it, or is Thoric doing some shenanigans? Who knows? They're probably grumbling quite a lot. Now, we are going to get a Master Rune of Slowness come down, so this Dragon is basically committed to this fight, I think. Oh, is it going to be able to escape? Is it going to be able to escape? I don't think so. Its speed is down to 36 right now. More Longbeards are coming in. Bring down the beast. Wild Riders do charge in, looking to save the Glade Lady. And now it is the Dwarf turn for their entire armies to start to waver. As we can see, Longbeards and Ironbreakers alike starting to fear the mighty dragon. It has to kill Thoric Ironbrow now. He has to pull it off as his forces once again start to break. Ironbrow down to 370 HP, absorbing the damage. We have Waywatchers chucking the bodies into the mist, and Thoric Ironbrow starts to break here, but likewise is the Wood Elf force. Eternal Guard looking very beat up, and Thoric may be able to rally here. That could be pretty crucial. The Dragonback Slayers, only 3 models left fighting. Ironbreakers are securing their lead where possible. Can the Dragon Lady, the Dragon Queen, the true Daenerys, who we all wish we had, is going to be maybe winning this game? Ironbreakers are trying to hold the line, but the Wood Elves do surge into an advantage on the balance of power. Thoric gets gobbled up by the Glade Lady. She has performed amazing this entire tournament. Probably the MVP of the tournament in general, particularly this final game. Swooping in to claim her prize, breaking the Ironbreakers and the hearts of the Dowie people. Everyone who said dragons are garbage, everyone said it. They said there was no chance Chalix could pull this back and win it. Well, look at him now. Glade Lady, 2,892 damage value. Over 15k damage dealt, 125 kills. Round of applause, guys. Round of applause. One for both these guys. They both played fantastic tournaments. But particularly for that Glade Lady, that was awesome. This match is giving me anxiety. If I wasn't casting this, I'd be in a ball somewhere crying. Branch Wraith, 350 damage value, 400, 300, 477, and 200 on the Eternal Guard. They didn't do too much. Waywatchers, 1.1k damage value, 2,278, and 1,630. As for the Glade Riders, they didn't do too much. The Wild Riders, 440 and 890. And there was a case of, okay, we'll soften up the Dwarfs, and then we're going to charge them with our Cav, with our Dragons, pin them in place of the Eternal Guard, and we didn't have to kill them all, we have to break them, because we have the mobility to chase off all these troops. Yeah, Tank was like, I think the Wood Elves have a chance, and everyone else was like, nah. But they came back, Thoric Ironbrow, 1.4k damage value. 17 kills. The Dwarf Warriors and the Longbeards did okay. 490, 850 damage value. Nice work there. 650 from the Slayers, 920. Ironbreakers, 1,400 damage value and 100 kills. 1,394 kills. Quarrelers, 700 damage value, 700 damage value, 900 damage value, 1,400 damage value, 778 on the bolt throw. Those Quarrelers did a really good job. GG's. GG. In my opinion, the rules were broken at one point. He had Wild Riders coming back. If it's what I think it was, when his Waywatchers were running away, he had Wild Riders coming back to the battlefield. Outstanding. That was outstanding, Earthdog. I agree. Everyone bow down to the master race of the Wood Elves. Man, that was amazing, guys. I hope you enjoyed that. That was really good fun. So, let us find... Well played, by the way, both to Brindle and Chalix. Chalix is going to be today's champion here. Oh, got a load of messages. Boom. Cool. Something to do with that. Okay, looks like no big questions there. They were returning towards the fight. I don't think there was a problem there. Yeah, like, you guys did do a vote, actually, didn't you? Let's see. And that says 55% Dowie victory. So, actually, a lot of you guys did think the Wood Elves. A lot of you guys did think the Wood Elves were going to win there. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed. What we're going to do now is... Well, one, if you enjoyed the stream, make sure to like, subscribe, and all that standard YouTube madness. We're going to see if anyone else is streaming Total Warhammer. And we're going to send you off over to them. So, let's have a little look. Bam. Human Boy is streaming some online multiplayer, so guys, make sure to go over there and share some love. Human Boy is a really good content creator. He's quite a small YouTuber at the moment, but what we're going to do, I need your help. We're going to pop over here, and we're just going to yell quack at him over and over again until his brain explodes. Demand bread, yell quack. This stream is too great to end so soon. It was an awesome stream. It really was. We've been going for a little while. They were returned towards the fight. It lasted for a few seconds, and my opponent only had a Lord and one unit. I think it was fine. I can double check. But gonna end stream first. Like, if they really want to play again, I think it was fine. To be honest. So, we're gonna end it there. But yeah, go over to Human Boy, Demand Bread. He's streaming. So, go show him some love, and I'll meet you guys over there. Thank you so much for the support, as always. I think we hit over 100 people watching at one point. We'll probably do another one of these next week, which would be really cool. So, I will be streaming tomorrow on Twitch. Make sure to go check it out. I have a Twitch channel. There's a link down below in the description. I'm going to be streaming myself, playing in some competitive Total War Warhammer stuff. So, it's going to be cool. It's going to be cool. So, until next time, guys, thank you again for your support. You've been awesome. Until next time, peace, peace. And as always, stay